Hello, good morning, and welcome to the AM show, the midweek edition of the show. You know what? God has been too good to us, and so you need to rejoice in the fact that you have life. That's most important. All the others will come. Do not be worrying about things that are not even, something that you need to worry about. Be happy, and things will come your way. We'll bring you the AM news in a short while to come, and then we'll follow up by the AM sports. After that, we get into the matters arising today. Matters arising will be focusing on critical areas, Ghana's political and health landscape. President John Mahama has raised concerns about the country's readiness to tackle non-communicable diseases, revealing that major health facilities outside Accra and Kumasi lack essential diagnostic and treatment equipment. He emphasizes that public-private partnerships are no longer optional, but essential to improving healthcare access. This morning we ask, how can these partnerships be structured to effectively close the health gap nationwide? And then in Parliament, the MP for Fuasi Ayerebi, Kojo Opon Nkrumah, alleges a deliberate plan by the ruling National Democratic Congress to secure a parliamentary supermajority, potentially to enable constitutional amendments. What implications does this accusation hold for Ghana's democracy and parliamentary processes? We delve into this, and this tension comes after a standoff where minority MPs blocked Majority Leader Mahama Yariga from responding to calls for the withdrawal of a letter declaring the Pandai parliamentary seat vacant. What does this deadlock reveal about the current state of political dialogue in Parliament? To explore these questions, we're joined by Dr. John Osai Kopon. He's lead the Democracy Project at the CDD. Now, Dr. Asa Asante is political scientist at the University of Ghana, and Dr. Rashid Rahman is director of the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs. We'll delve into these matters and just check on how this impacts democracy here in Ghana. We're happy to hear from you, so join the conversation via our social media handles. The AM show, as always, is sponsored by Shield Silicon Paint from Azar Group, Syntex Pipes, and Time Herbal Mixture. Do stay with us. News is coming up shortly. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Let's do the AM news now. And Parliament's proceedings grounded to a halt for more than 4 hours on Tuesday evening as the minority erupted in protest over the House's decision to notify the Electoral Commission that the Pandai seat was vacant. A Tamale High Court had ordered a rerun after the NDC challenged the results over the alleged irregularities, but the MPP rejected the ruling, arguing the court lacked jurisdiction. When the Speaker's 10-day moratorium expired, Parliament wrote to the EC declaring the seat vacant, a move the MPP fiercely resisted, staging hours of protest and demanding the decision be halted. Carlos Caloni has the rest of the story.
That was the level of chaos that erupted in Parliament Tuesday night as the NPP minority disrupted proceedings for hours, demanding the Speaker suspend a Clerk's letter to the Electoral Commission declaring the Pandai seat vacant. Speaker Alban Bagbin was forced to suspend sitting.
There is a need for us to have a conclave where the Speaker will preside over the discussions at the conclave and then mediate for us to come to consensus.
When the House reconvened, the Speaker announced he would rule on the matter later, a decision that angered the minority, who launched a fresh 3-hour protest, vowing to shut down all government businesses until their demands were met.
To the extent that you want to twist our hands, to the extent that you have conspired to twist our hands, I put it to you that government business will suffer. So, Mr. Speaker, we are not doing any business We are not going to cooperate with you until Kwanda is resolved. And we are telling you this.
But Majority Leader Mahama Yarega refused to yield.
It's not possible. No matter how much you chant, no matter how much noise you make. In fact, even if you come and stand on my seat here, I will still state my position so that the speaker can give his ruling.
Despite the minority standing, chanting, and banging desk for hours, the majority pushed through the turmoil and approved several budget allocations. All eyes are now on the minority's next move when Parliament resumes today. Carlos Caloni, Joy News, Accra.
Now, President John Mahama is raising concerns about Ghana's readiness to tackle non-communicable diseases, revealing that major health facilities in the country lack the necessary equipment to diagnose and treat these conditions. Speaking at the second edition of World Health Expo in Accra, President Mahama pledged to expand support to private hospitals through the Ghana Medical Trust Fund under the Mahama Cares policy.
Non-communicable diseases account for more than 45% of Ghana's mobility. And because of our changing lifestyle, cancers, cardiac incidents, high blood pressure, diabetes, liver failures, kidney failures have become very common. And so they came to meet me and said, we have the money to start, to pay claims and, enroll people on the program. But Mr. President, there's a major problem. Yes, what's the problem? There are no diagnostics equipment. MRIs are broken down, CT scans are broken down. There's limited cancer treatment outside Accra and Kumasi, which are two major cities. And so it's not about the availability of the money to help to pay the high cost of treatment, but even the equipment, both to diagnose and treat, are in limited supply. Indeed, there's the example of one particular hospital which we built 9 years ago. I came back as president to find that not one single of their equipment is working. No CT scan is not working. If they have to do a CT scan, they have to put you in an ambulance, take you to a private facility, do the CT scan, and bring the report back.
Meanwhile, Health Minister Kwabena Minta Kando says government is developing a centralized national health intelligence database to enhance transparency and support evidence-based decision-making across all levels of the health system to improve healthcare delivery.
At this stage of our development, digital innovation has become the driving force behind our transformation. We are building a centralized national health intelligence database that will allow our real-time data analytics, greater transparency, and truly evidence-based decision-making at every level of the health system. To support this, we are developing a national middleware layer onto which all digital health platforms will be integrated. This ensures interoperability, national ownership of all data generated, and the ability to use that data to improve the lives of our people.
Away from that, experts are raising concerns about Ghana's fight against cybercrime, describing it as a weakening not due to lack of structures, but because key institutions are failing to work together. Their warning comes as new data reveals more than 2,000 cyber incidents recorded in just 6 months, underscoring the growing urgency of the threat.
With over 2,000 cybercrime incidents reported in Ghana between January and June 2025, according to data released by the Cybersecurity Authority, underscoring the growing scale and complexity of cyber threats facing the country, the global organization responsible for keeping the internet stable and secure, ICANN, blames Ghana's futile fight against cybercrime on the lack of cooperation amongst the designated institutions set up to combat it. Speaking at the Africa Engagement Forum, the Vice President of Stakeholder Engagement at ICANN, Sakbo Pierre, says that in Ghana, despite the existence of institutions to address the menace, working in silos is what inhibits the fight.
And there are different institutions, different groups, teams that you can put in place. You are talking about in a country you have security, of course, and security guys also know what to do. They need to have the appropriate algorithm to combat those things and to mitigate those things. So in Ghana, those things exist. It's about cohesiveness. It means working together is what's going to help us. Like I said, we have means to solve the issue, but we need to work closely, because the internet itself is a different part of things that works, a different part of system that work. So yes, and that's what we call multi-stakeholder model.
Also speaking at the forum, Secretary General of the Association of African Universities, Professor Oyewole Olusola, says students across the region need to be equipped with the necessary skills in order to catch up with the rest of the world.
One is an opportunity for us to connect universities in Africa to what is happening in the area of university acceptance of domain names. We feel that issues about university acceptance should be incorporated into the curricula of universities in Africa. This will help universities in Africa to develop personnel with skills and competencies that can develop websites and manage email domains that are compatible with the rest of the world.
As cyber threats evolve and digital opportunities expand, the message from experts is clear. Collaboration, innovation, and skill building will determine Africa's readiness for the future. For Joy News, Maxwell Akloboto's report read to you.
To the upper part of the country now, where youth groups in the Wa municipality have renewed their fight against drug abuse. Led by Jamaican youth founder Haj Amin Al-Hassan Cisco, the group say they are working with security agencies to arrest peddlers of tramadol and other harmful substances. The Upper West Regional Mental Health Unit reports that about 700 people have suffered drug-related mental health disorders in the past 2 years. After a unity walk in Wa, Haj Cisco warned drug dealers to stop or be, quote and unquote, smoked out from their hideout. Joy News' Rafiq Salam reports from Wa.
Statistics from the Upper West Regional Mental Health Unit of the Ghana Health Service reveals that between 2018 and 2020, 700 people suffered mental disorders resulting from drug abuse. Another study conducted in the region showed that 76% of those interviewed had abused tramadol, whilst 83.9% of them had at least taken one other related drug, with the age bracket hovering between 15 and 45. Unsatisfied of the continuous festering of the drug canker in the region, a concerned youth group in the Wa municipality, calling themselves Jamaica Youth, in collaboration with other youth groups in the municipality, hit the streets to drum home the message on the dangers associated with opioids and other illicit drugs. Led by the founder of Jamaica Youth, Haj Amin Al-Hassan, they spilled all principal streets and ended at the forecourt of the Jamaican Youth Camp, unaddressed by their various leaders. Their focus was first directed at the drug peddlers, warning them to desist from the act or they will be made to face justice.
Border to border, we are giving you people warning to stop entering this region, Upper West region, in that drugs, especially the 225, 120, is warning to you people. If
not Allah give you to us, I think you will know that we are real fighting for that drugs abuse, which is 225, 120.
To those that are bringing drugs into the region and those that are into retailing of drugs, that you either stop or you face the law. We can arrest, but we can't detain.
Yes, sir.
And we are indigenous of the region. We know the corners and wherever you think you can hide.
They later zeroed in on those patronizing the drugs.
And looking at one municipal, I think drug abuse is one of the problems we are facing. So I think this work will help a lot, and then I will encourage that the youth of us who are into this drugs abuse should be able to stop based on what we are doing.
The Vice Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Nana Aba Apia Amfo, has called on all students across all year groups to help equip the school's IT laboratories with enough computers and other learning materials. Pointing to the 1993 year group as a leading example, she praised the pacesetters for the organization, dedication, and impactful contributions, including laptop donations and other initiatives that directly benefit students and the campus. The following report has more.
Speaking during a courtesy call by the 1993 year group of the University of Ghana, Vice Chancellor Nana Aba Apia Amfo encouraged the Institutional Advancement Directorate to study the group's approach and explore ways to replicate it across all alumni communities, stressing that coordinated support for equipment and resources can significantly improve campus infrastructure and academic outcomes.
By this singular gesture, you are helping us to, achieve the targets that we have set for ourselves through our strategic priorities. And in fact, one office that we forgot to invite is our Institutional Advancement Directorate, where alumni relations is based. In fact, they needed to be here to see this model and to see how they can even work closely with you to ensure that we replicate this model across board.
As part of their 32-year homecoming celebration, the University of Ghana 1992 year group returned to campus and made a contribution toward the university's laptop project. Margaret Donko is the president of the 1993 year group.
We are coming back to campus again. We're going to have our health work as usual on Saturday. So as part of our homecoming as UG 93, we decided to do some Widow's Mite, donation to the university because we heard about the one laptop project of the university.
A member of the group, Professor Peter Korte, said COVID-19 exposed inequalities in students' access to digital tools, noting that many still struggle to afford laptops, which limits their ability to keep up with modern academic demands.
You saw what COVID did to us, to our students. The need for laptops, the need for technology so they can study. And not many can afford laptops, not many can have that gadget to study. We wanted our students also to be internationally comparable.
This year, the 1993 year group, also known as the Pace Setters, has returned to their alma mater for its 32nd anniversary homecoming.
Now, on day 4 of the 23rd International Conference on AIDS and STIs in Africa, a professor of pharmacy and immediate past dean of the School of Pharmacy at the University of Ghana, Professor Isaac Julius Asiedu Jeche, revealed that validated scientific studies now confirm the supportive role of traditional medicine in managing HIV and several sexually transmitted infections. The professor explained that well-researched herbal formulations have shown measurable impact when used alongside standard antiretroviral therapy, particularly in boosting immune response and improving patient well-being. He emphasized, however, that these remedies must be regulated, clinically tested, and administered within approved treatment protocols.
There are evidence about the effectiveness of plant medicines in the management of HIV/AIDS. Yes, scientifically proven. Yes, using plant medicines, but you know it goes through a process before it will be accepted nationwide or by the public, and that individuals will have to use them. Their CD4 counts will have to be monitored, their organs will have to be monitored to know that this plant medicine, when taken for a longer period of time, will not cause any harm. Evidence, scientific evidence, those that are known, I should think that we have about 70%. That should be fine. But as I said, the fact that it is effective in the lab or something like that does not mean that if a human being takes it, the person is going to recover 100% full. That is, we call it the preclinical stage, maybe in the lab, in animals, and they have their evidence, yes.
Meanwhile, researcher and panel member Dr. Benedict Owusu Yanchere is calling for a fully inclusive approach to integrating traditional medicine into Ghana's healthcare system. Dr. Yanchere has stressed that with an estimated 70% of Ghanaians relying on some form of traditional care at least once a year, structured integration could expand access, reduce treatment gaps, and strengthen overall health outcomes.
You will find herbal medicine departments in some selected hospitals. Now, so that is the second step, as you see. To sustain further is not just to have some departments and then maybe those departments being in silos. They should be well integrated into the system. So we don't want the case where we call it like co-location. So you have herbal medicine department there, and other conventional or biomedical management or department are also running on their own. There should be that kind of intersection where there could be co-referrals. Okay, so herbal medicine practitioner refers to conventional medicine and vice versa. Okay, or they could sit at the round table and discuss cases so that they will know how do we manage this, what are the evidence base.
Let's do some business update. And the Bank of Ghana has pumped some $10 billion onto the market in foreign exchange support to aid cedi stability. This is based on market data in terms of total dollar auctions by the central bank from January to December. More in the following report.
Now, this is the total amount of dollars that the Bank of Ghana has sold to the market from January to the first week of December this year to meet the dollar needs of businesses. This has indirectly gone a long way to aid the Ghana cedi stability. Majority of the dollars has come from the windfall made from rising gold prices under the gold purchase program. The Bank of Ghana has used some of the windfall to support its dollar builder program in terms of reserves, meet any upcoming debt repayments, and give the rest back to the market in terms of dollar support. Now, another reason why one should not be worried about Ghana's reserves being depleted is that in December 2024, Ghana's international reserves stood at $9.1 billion. Now, fast forward to October this year, and it has reached $11.4 billion. And there are strong indications that it would hit more than $12 billion by the end of this year. The data clearly showed that the actions of the Bank of Ghana has not worsened our reserves position. Therefore, some market watchers have told Joy Business that the dollar auction program has not left the Bank of Ghana's reserves in a sorry position, but rather a strong one. Just in October this year, the Bank of Ghana auctioned $1.3 billion to support the market. It came down to $1 billion in November this year and $800 million so far in December this year.
Away from that, Ghana has maintained its safe position on the African continent to invest in 2025 and 2026. This is according to Rand Merchant Bank's Where to Invest in Africa in 2025-2026 report. The following report captures more.
In the report, Where to Invest in Africa 2025-2026, Ghana is the #1 place to do business in West Africa, while Seychelles retained its #1 position on the continent. It was followed by Mauritius and Egypt in 2nd and 3rd respectively, while South Africa and Morocco placed 4th and 5th. From 7th to 10th are Algeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Tanzania, Kenya and Ethiopia respectively. The RMB Where to Invest in Africa Index focused on fundamentals, what economists refer to as structural elements. These are factors that are foundational, slow-moving and robust rather than fickle and erratic. The report therefore anticipates most countries to maintain their respective rankings from year to year. Industrial structures, populations, and investment environments rarely change considerably over short spells. Hence, the report said it is unsurprising that 11 nations retained their positions in this year's report. A total of 7 countries moved between 2 and 4 positions. Just 6 countries experienced moves of 5 places or more.
That's all in business update, and that's how we wrap up the AM news. Up next is AM Sports. Do stay tuned.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to AM Sports here with me, Muftau Nabila Abdullah. Ghana will be coming up against South Africa on December 16 ahead of the African Cup of Nations that will be happening in Morocco. Ghana did not qualify. Ghana is not participating, but the Bafana has gotten in touch with the Ghana Football Association to try or have a friendly match ahead of the tournament. And it is part of their preparations as they build up to the competition. Head coach of the team, Kasim Mingle, has released his 20-man squad for that game. Let's take a look at the squad ahead of that friendly match on December 16 as South Africa readies themselves for the competition. And these are the players that he's called up. There's only one House of Folk player and no commercial Asante Kotoko player made the squad that has been assembled by the head coach ahead of that very match. And in goal post, we have Heart of Lions, Lawrence Osei, and Felix Che of Midiama SC. And for the defenders, Kamaradini, Mamadou of Midiama SC, Isaac Affle of FC Samatex. Isaac Affle made a debut for the Black Stars in November last year during the African Cup of Nations qualifier against Niger. Kamaradini also played in that game as well. Razak Simpson, who was part of the Black Stars squad during the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. He played matches against Angola and Niger. He's also been called up for this contest. Since that last game against Niger, Razak Simpson has not been called up to the Black Stars. There's a place for Ebenezer Annan of Heart of Lions. He also had a Black Stars debut. Ali Mohammed of Heart of Oak. He's the only Heart of Oak player who has been called up for this friendly match. Samuel Osei-Kufo of Nations FC, Abdul Aziz of Swedro All Blacks. And when you go to the midfielders, Eche Dogley of Heart of Lions, Nana Kusi Asante of Vision FC, Prince Owusu of Midiama FC. Prince Owusu was recently part of the Black Stars team that played against Central African Republic. He was also part of the team against Comoros and was recently in Korea and Japan for the friendly matches the Black Stars played. He plays for Midiama SC. Salim Adams is Midiama SC as well. Midiama SC players dominate this very squad. Emmanuel Aban of Bechembi United, Calvin Nkrumah of Midiama. Calvin was also part of the team. And in fact, just yesterday, I mentioned that Calvin Nkrumah is a product of the Milo Under-13 Championship after we did that story. And there's also a place for Emmanuel Ano, Emmanuel Mafo of Ediana Stars. Ano is with Nations FC. Rudolph Jr. Kwesi Mensah is with Federal All Blacks. Samuel Atakumi is with Gold Stars. And Seydi Suraj, he is with Dreams FC. So these are the players. Kasim Mingle is taken to South Africa for that friendly match because the Black Stars A, the players will not be assembling for this game because they did not qualify for the tournament. So the players are with their clubs in Europe, assisting them to achieve their various goals for the season. So home-based players have been assembled to go and face Bafana as they prepare for the African Cup of Nations that will be taking place in Morocco. It starts on December 21, and they will come up against the Black Stars on December 16. They will fly out to the tournament, for the tournament on December 17. Now let's talk about a new sport in Ghana. It is not that new, but it is new to many people because this is a sport that's not so familiar. They call it a paddle sport. This is a sport that is played with a racket with two people. It's just like pickleball. However, this is a bit different. The 2025 championship kicked off in Spintex just yesterday. And my colleague Abdul Karim Benin was there and has details in this report.
The prestigious event will see at least 16 international teams compete against the Ghanaian team for bragging rights and the lucrative prizes at stake. The international tournament is expected to climax the Ghana paddle season with French, Nigerian and Ivorian teams among the international participants. Professional Paddle Association of Ghana President John Noel Said explains what makes the second edition different from the first.
What's special about this tournament is that we have so many teams from outside. We have at least 16 teams from abroad that came to participate in this event. Last year, we had, I think, about 4 or 5 teams. So that's what makes it so special, that we have been recognized around our neighboring countries and European countries like France and because we have some French players, that this tournament is quite interesting for them to come and play and experience the level and experience the Ghana way. Well, we are thrilled to have so many great players coming this year, and we encourage all the friends to come. We have a player that is 250 in the world. We have a player that's 400 in the world. We have a player that's 600, then 800, 900, 1000, 1001, 1002, 1004, and so on. We have so many professional players ranked in the FIP ranking that are here, and I think we're going to see some incredible paddle, and it's the first time that we see these kinds of players in Ghana.
The Egyptian team of Ali Zaghloul and Sherif Maklouf are confident of emerging champions in the men's P250 category.
I'm trying to do whatever I can do for me and my partner to win this tournament. The weather here is very good. All the people are too nice and too kind. We don't need anything except playing this tournament and 200% in the court. This week, I'm looking forward to win this tournament in Ghana. We're excited. We'll give 100% and we'll try to win the tournament.
The men will compete in the P250 and P50 categories, while the women will battle it out in the P100 category. The tournament will come to a conclusion on Sunday, where the prizes and medals will be handed out to the winners.
More action tonight in Europe as the UEFA Champions League continues. Let's take a look at the fixtures of matches that will be happening later tonight in the UEFA Champions League. And we have Karabakh coming up against Ajax Amsterdam. And this game will kick off at 5:45 p.m. Villarreal will come up against Copenhagen. Atletico Bilbao will come up against PSG. Borussia Dortmund will come up against Bodo Glimt. Benfica will be at home to Napoli. Club Brugge will come up against Arsenal. Juventus will play Pafos. Leverkusen will play Newcastle United. And Real Madrid will come against Manchester City. These are the fixtures. And as always, the matches are kicking off at 8 p.m. and not 9 p.m. as you can see on your screen. Those kicking off at 16:45 is rather at 5:45 p.m. or GMT or 17:45 GMT. That's the kickoff times of the various matches. We wrap up with what Xabi Alonso and Pep Guardiola has been saying ahead of their fixture later tonight.
Yep, it's a great game tomorrow, as you were saying. It's a very good opportunity for us to keep on progressing with more points in Champions League, and we know that tomorrow Bernabeu will have a great Champions Night atmosphere against a rival that has been champions a few years ago. A few years ago. We are playing at home, and supporters and players, they all know what kind of game we're going to have, and we expect to play a good game tomorrow.
So Barcelona, Madrid are the toughest opponents, the toughest clubs, I would say, to be a manager. The more difficult one for the pressure, for environment. So last season, I have been sacked 6 months before end of the season. So it's a difficult place, but he knows it. He has been here. He knows the reality. It's a question of, winning games. I know they have a lot of absence. I know what happened when you want to build something. Like many players are injured. It happened ourselves last season. So, but of course, he's capable to do it. What require that position, being manager for Madrid.
Just speaking about the culture difference here compared to England, what is the biggest thing you've found in England that maybe makes it easier? I don't know if easier is the right word to manage in England.
No, and everywhere today you have to win, otherwise you have a problem. But in England you don't see one journalist. What happens inside in the locker rooms always remain there. In Spain, my experience in Barcelona, Madrid, everybody knows everything.
Pep Guardiola there, he was basically touching on the future of Xabi Alonso and what he has to do to ensure that he keeps his job, because media reports began speculating over the weekend that there's a possibility that he'll be shown the exit door. And in fact, the names like Jurgen Klopp and Zinedine Zidane have come up as potential replacement for Xabi Alonso if he is sacked. In fact, some media reports actually indicated that when he had issues with Vinicius Jr., he went and spoke to Eder Militao to mediate the differences that exist between them. And Vinicius was like, why did he not speak to him directly? So such conversations, per media reports, have come up. And it is possible that this game could define the future of Xabi Alonso as the manager of Real Madrid. This is how we wrap up our AM Sports here. With me, Muftau Nabila Abla. Head on to myjoyonline.com and read some more sports. The newspaper review is coming your way up next.
Welcome back to the AM show. Let's do with the news review now. But let's start from what the papers are reporting this morning, beginning with the Daily Graphic. On the front page, Bandai seat create chaos in Parliament. And yesterday, if you watched Joy News, we brought you that coverage where you saw the minority and the majority side clash in Parliament. Minority vowing not to allow the House to proceed because of the decision by the Clerk to Parliament in writing that letter to the EC to notify the Electoral Commission of a vacancy with respect to the Pandai seat. And speaking to Kojo Ponkruma later on in the day, he says they have decided to withdraw cooperation in the House until that particular matter is resolved. Get details on page 3 of the paper. Now, Ghana loses $3 billion annually to corruption. That's according to the Research Commissioner. He says that this is through, leakages, tax evasion, people undercutting the system, and we're losing $3 billion annually. He says that that is not helping in the development that we want, and also reducing the chances of the youth to progress. So get details of that. Dr. Mani Boame's funeral, Saturday, Sunday, this weekend. Get details there on page 11. At the back page, GIS assures safe, seamless Christmas travel. Get details of that there as well. Reverse tariff increase, audit ECG, Ghana Water Limited, Fabag to government. Get details on the back page of the paper. Let's do the Daily Guide now. 90 illegal forest traders arrested. And according to the director of CID, she says the people who have been arrested include Ghanaians, Beninois, Togolese, Nigerians, and a lot more African nationals who are involved in this trade. She says that the monies that were taken from this operation have been deposited with the Bank of Ghana for safekeeps as investigations are underway. Now, the big story, pandemonium in Parliament, get details there. Court retains Mustafa Hamid, 9 others bail terms. You know that the OSP has increased the charges for these people, but the counsels for them argue that even though the charges have increased, the monies have not substantially increased, and therefore the bail terms should be retained, and the court listened to the counsels and maintained the 2 million cedis bail each for these 10 people. So that is that. The MPP is also saying that they won't abandon the Bandai MP, or you would want to say in code now, the embattled MP, Matthew Yindam. They say that they will fight with him in court, fight with him with all the resources available to make sure that his victory, because they feel that that victory is legitimate, will be maintained. Details there on page, I think, 6 of the paper. Let's do more other stories, other papers here. Okay, now the publisher says Ghana to lose $630 million with lithium royalty cuts. So you remember that the royalty that the previous government agreed on and signed on was 10%, but this government, because they say they are introducing a new LI to then bring about the scaling up, they have, in this current deal, reduced it to 5% because that is what the law mandates. But people say that that particular cut would lead Ghana losing $630 million as a result of that particular cut. There, get details on page 3 of the Ghanaian publisher. Minority demand withdrawal of Bandai vacancy notice, and you watch there in the news. They are not willing to listen to anything at all. We'll delve into this particular matter when we sit down to discuss that with our panel. Now, reject the call of sycophant Ras Mubarak tells Mahama to refuse term extension. So you are aware that there's a subtle agenda to get President Mahama to go for a third term. He has said publicly that he will not go for a third term, but other people are pushing, and Ras Mubarak is advising the president not to listen to the people who are asking him for a term extension. Let's see how that one goes. Let's do other papers here. The Accra Times, Bagbin tasks new MPs maintain national interest as priority. Well, let's see how that goes. Speaker gift UG student with hotspot comfort zone, and at long last, Kufuor blasts Akufo-Addo, says some of his policies did not make sense. All right, let's do other stories here. The New Finder, bond market turnover rises 54% to 2.47 billion cedis. The details are on page 8 of the paper. GTA Gold Board launched festive promotion offering visitors a taste of Ghana. Yesterday we had a chat with her here, and I might even think that that story is coming from that interview, that for the December in GH, people will be allowed to buy gold, you know, at a discounted price. So let us all make a point in getting there. And that's what this paper says, that they are offering visitors a taste of Ghana. Now, government orders independent audit as road fund debt hit 8 billion. Now we understand that the Gold Fund Board has been inaugurated with the chairman being the MP of Wassa East. Let's see how that board is also able to make sure that the road fund is administered the way it has to be. And let's do a news center now. Unpaid ex-Heath Goldfields workers to picket at Lands Ministry today. Well, we'll keep an eye on that particular one. Ghana to lose up to 630 million if NDC government slashes lithium royalty from 10 to 5%. Get details there. Republic Bank SHC Alliance promises flexible home financing. And Cybele Energy clinches landmark Guyana oil block there. On the back page, okay, so it tells details of the Republic Bank SHC alliance there. Ghana retains its spot in African investment. We brought you that story on the AM news. Let's do others here. The custodian newspaper, Baumia salutes Star Oil Ghana for fuel now, pay later scheme. You remember the former vice president launched that credit-worthy scheme, and according to his write-up on Facebook, it is that which the Star Ghana, the Star Oil is using to now say you can come with your Ghana card to take fuel on credit and pay later because of the credit-worthy scheme. Let's see. So you can go to Star Oil now and buy oil now and pay later. But big story. Withdraw Pandai seat vacancy letter to EC. Minority tells Bagbing, because they say without doing that they are withdrawing their cooperation. So details of that story there. Let's do other stories here, the other papers. Discover says chaos in Parliament as minority fights majority over Speaker's decision on Pandai, and it comes with interesting photographs there. NDC blew 38 million cedis on Akotia by-election. Honorable Intim Fojo is saying the details on that. Government CSO WhatsApp group, part of Mahama's blueprint for an elective dictatorship, according to the NPP. But I've heard other people say that that WhatsApp group is actually a group that is dealing with drawing up an action plan to deal with corruption. Let's see how that goes. Bank of Ghana injects $10 billion to stabilize city in 2025. And Baumia starts Upper West tour. That's get details there. NDC youth protest against Nanton DCE over alleged misconduct. Those are the papers. Let's do Major Online briefly, and then we can get into the discussion. Start with the BBC. It says, Australian teens navigate new world without social media as ban takes effect. Well, so some serious countries are protecting their teens from abuse on social media. And so there's that ban there. Let's see how that goes. But they say that the teens are navigating the new world without social media as ban takes effect. Okay. Sperm from donor with cancer-causing gene was used to conceive almost 200 children. Wow. Get details of that story there. Let's do City Newsroom now. Mahama to receive Boko mediation report December 11. That's a communication that the Minister in charge of Government Communication released yesterday, announcing that December 11th will be the time government will receive that particular report from Otunfo de Santene. Let's do Major Online now. IEA halt ratification of revised lithium agreement between Ghana and Barari. Interesting about the lithium deal. Get details there, because some people have been discussing this. Now the IEA has waded into this discussion that Ghana must halt this ratification, or Parliament must halt the ratification process. Now, Mahama urges global manufacturing firms to invest in Ghana because Ghana is open to business. We'll try to keep taps running, but not 24/7. Ghana Water Company entered on new 15.92% approved tariff. And Ghana risks losing about $630 million if government reduces lithium royalty rates. Well, those are the stories on majoronline.com and other stories as well. So get there and get details of that. Well, let's try and deal with, sit down now and have the discussion with our panel as we've lined them up. Dr. John Osai Kopon is lead the Democracy Project. He will be joining us. Dr. Asa Asante, political scientist at the University of Ghana, will also be joining us. And Dr. Rashid Rahman is director of the African Center for Parliamentary Affairs. They will be my guests for today as we delve into the matters. But even before that, let me bring you some information that you will need. But I'm told I've been joined on Zoom by Dr. John Osai Kopon. Doc, good morning to you. I hope all is well. Okay. We'll be getting Dr. John Mahama shortly. Dr. Asante, good morning to you. Doc, if you can hear me, kindly unmute so we can hear what you're telling us.
Hello.
Good. I have you. I trust all is well from your end.
I am well. And yourself?
I am well too, by the grace.
Good morning to you, Ujo, and then, of course, my brother, Dr. Osai Kwapong, and our viewers as well.
Okay.
Yes.
And I guess to Dr. Rashid Rahman too.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen him. Doc, apologies, and good morning to you. It's been a while.
All right, yes. All right. He will come up and then we'll get Dr. John Mahama, good morning.
Morning, Kojo. How are you?
I'm well. Let me start with you, Doc, Dr. John Mahama, because you are the lead for the Democracy Project. First, what do you make of what happened in Parliament yesterday?
Well, good morning to you. Good morning to the other guest. Good morning to your viewers. It's unfortunate, in my view. In fact, I used to think that a lot of the rancor that we saw in the 8th Parliament was primarily because of how closely divided Parliament was. And therefore, that sort of led to a lot of the clashes between the minority and the majority side on key issues that would come before Parliament. And so after the 2024 election, where Parliament was no longer that closely divided, I expected that we would move into a phase where the lessons of the 8th Parliament and a recognition that the rancor and some of the headbutting was not going to serve the institution well, that we would find ways to cooperate and conduct the business of the House. But I think the first indication of some of that rancor and deep divisions continuing, was seen during the inauguration, of the 9th Parliament. And then more importantly, we started seeing that through the vetting, some of the chaos that erupted during the vetting. And it seems that it is continuing. And I know that there are deep divisions or disagreements over some of the happenings in our governance and in our political space. But it was unfortunate to observe, how things quickly degenerated from the minority expressing its valid concerns about the Pandai election, the subsequent court judgment, and the declaration of the seats. There's nothing, untoward or nothing wrong about them expressing those grievances about the entire process leading to the declaration of the seat as vacant by the Clerk of Parliament. But I think it is the tactics and the subsequent behaviors that became very disruptive to parliamentary procedure that I found worrying and concerning.
Okay. What do you see to be the impact of that on parliamentary process and Ghana's parliament in general?
So, interestingly, the majority still found a way to continue with the business of the House, over the next couple of hours. My biggest worry is that its impact is more on public perception and how the public continues to feel about Parliament as an institution. And so if you look at the Afrobarometer survey, for example, the rating, in terms of the evaluation of the performance of Parliament is at an all-time low. And then trust in Parliament as an institution has been on the decline for at least the last 5 rounds of the Afrobarometer survey. And even when we have conversations, in public spaces, social media, you tend to hear these narratives about people's dissatisfaction with Parliament, whether Parliament is really addressing the people's issues, etc., etc. So when you put all of that together and we see these scenes and these happenings, it reinforces some of that public perception and disapproval of Parliament as an institution. And that, for me, doesn't augur well when a key branch of your governance setup continues to lose the trust of the citizens that they are elected to serve.
Okay, let me bring in Dr. Asante here. Doc, I mean, when the issues were happening for you, how were you viewing it? Were you seeing it as though the minority trying to get their issues through, or you thought that, well, they could have had a better way to handle it?
I'll go for the latter because there are always better ways of dealing with issues that confront us every day. And I thought that they would have taken that option that allows for decorum, that allows for, people, sober heads, if you like, to prevail. Yes, sometimes you don't get your way, but the tactics, as my brother, Dr. Sankwapong said, is where the trouble is, and that this creates bad spectacle for Parliament in the course of their work, because what we see and what we follow is not the best of the practice as we have seen in other jurisdictions. One would have thought that if they were not happy, they could go out and then find another way of also let the public know their grievance, make their case forcefully in Parliament and all that. There are so many ways, but this one, that noise, that attitude there and all that, for me, it's not the best. It doesn't help anything. So I believe that, yes, they have to rethink their strategy and then carry everybody along so that we, the public, who put them there, will be comfortable in what they are doing. I'm not against expressing.
Would walking out have had the sort of impact they were looking for? Because they felt that, well, someone is trying to deal with them in a way that they thought was not right. So would walking out had got them to achieve the sort of objective that they had with what they did?
If that would not help, there are so many ways. Is there also the possibility of going by emotion? Is there any possibility of going to court and all that? There are so many ways. But the noise, obviously, I'm not sure is the best. It doesn't help their cause. Okay. All right. And for me, that is where it's worrying. Remember that we are in very difficult times. Economy, yes, we have been a little bit free from the shackles and tentacles of the bad economic policies that we experience over the years and its effect on us. Now we want to right some of the wrongs and move on. Is that the way to go? Yes, much as you want to express yourself, you want to further your interests, think about the general public and how we view you, how we also perceive what you are doing, and then weigh them and see which one is the best. Look at the scenes we are having now. It's more like a market situation or a conflict situation, but that is not the best. Time and again, you see the speaker coming out to come and apologize for some of these things. When will this apology end? Yes, the speaker will apologize, and then members will come back to repeat what he is actually apologizing for. And then once you become consistent, nobody takes Parliament seriously. And I believe that they know the best things to do.
Well, let me bring you in, Dr. John Osai-Kwapong. Now, we have a copy of a search conducted at the Supreme Court which indicates that the Parliament was aware of that certiorari application. If that is the case, was it right for the clerk to then go ahead to notify the Electoral Commission when the party is seeking to quash that particular decision by the Tamale High Court at the Supreme Court?
So, and this is a question I was asking a colleague and friend yesterday, because I'm not a legal person, so I sometimes get confused when, for example, I see that there's a particular decision, someone has gone to court to file a stay of an execution of that decision or judgment, but some way, somehow, that decision is continuing. I've seen that with, let's say, something against an EC, or even in private matters. And so I'm not sure what happens when someone files, a stay of execution, right? Does it automatically then stops that decision until it is resolved? So legally, if that is the case, right, that as you said, a search showing that the matter was pending some final resolution by the Supreme Court, then I would think that the Clerk of Parliament should have held off in notifying the EC of the vacancy of the Pandai seat, and then saying that, look, the seat is vacant, which then triggers an EC response of beginning the process of organizing the rerun. But again, I would need more legal education on what happens once a stay of execution is filed. Does that stop whatever decision needs to be executed until the courts have fully resolved it? And that is where the knowledge in my knowledge gap exists. But again, if really one has to wait for a final judicial resolution to that stay of execution, then I would say that the Clerk of Parliament should have waited for all of those issues to be resolved before triggering the process of a rerun by notifying the EC that the seat is vacant.
When the minority knows that what they know, that the Parliament is aware of that particular decision or that particular process at the Supreme Court, but still goes ahead to notify the EC, will you have a different perspective in terms of how they reacted in Parliament, because they will feel that someone is trying to do them in, even though Parliament is aware of the processes at the Supreme Court?
I still won't have a different view of their reaction. Their reaction in terms of the disruptive behavior that was exhibited in Parliament. I mean, I accept their valid concerns and the issues they raised, and it all seemed to start, quote unquote, very nicely in terms of a reading of their statement. I can't remember the particular MP, who sort of, spoke as part of the proceeding. So
yesterday it was Anodon, the chief whip of the minority.
Exactly. And so making that forceful case and statement on the floor of Parliament, for me, was very appropriate. And that is the route that I would have taken. I think where I, disagree with the minority is then the subsequent action of being disruptive in Parliament.
Those are something. So, I mean, okay, I'll come back to you, but let me bring in the majority leader of Ghana's Parliament, Mahama Yarga, who's joined us on the phone. Grateful to you, sir, for joining us. Yesterday the minority wanted the House not to, to have to rescind that particular letter that has been taken to the EC. What was the difficulty in the House doing that?
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Yarga, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I just wanted to find out from you on education. What's the difficulty in the House recalling that letter from the EC just to make matters lie in the House so that there could be peace?
Well, it's not a complicated matter if you understand what it is. So I'll just take a little bit of your time to explain exactly what it is so that you and your viewers and listeners can understand. Following the decision of the High Court in Tamale, ordering the rerun of the election in Kwandai, the Member of Parliament, Honorable Yinda, appeared in the chamber and wanted to make a statement. Then a member from the NDC side raised objection, saying that the court had ordered a rerun in his constituency, so he was no longer a member of the House. That drew the attention of the Speaker, and he decided to give a ruling. And the Speaker essentially said that after a court decision or order, that order is not enforced within 7 days. 7 days are allowed so that the person can decide whether they want to appeal, they want to seek an order to stay the execution of the decision, or anything. So until after 7 days, nobody can enforce or execute the order of the court. So the member was still a member until 7 days, which will be the 1st of December. Now, in his ruling, the Speaker then made a statement to the effect that after the 7 days, if the member decided to exercise his right of appeal, it may further elongate the time that the person may stay in the House. So I think that the minority claim, and they said that to me yesterday, that on the basis of what Speaker said, the honorable member then went and filed an appeal, and then, filed some processes, a motion or notice for stay of execution at the High Court. And so they served those processes on Parliament. So they thought that it had the effect of staying the execution of the order of the court. Meanwhile, Article 1125 of the Constitution also says that within 7 days of the occurrence of a vacancy, the Clerk of Parliament shall communicate the Electoral Commission that there is a vacancy in Parliament, and therefore a by-election should be organized. Now, acting on the ruling of the Speaker and also the law, which is captured in CI 19, that's the Court of Appeal rules, the Clerk of Parliament waited for the first 7 days to run its course. Then the constitutional obligation that says that within 7 days he must write to the Electoral Commission kicked in. So starting from 1st of December, he also started counting 7 days. And on the 4th of December, he decided to write to the Electoral Commission to inform the Electoral Commission that there is a vacancy in Parliament, and therefore they should go ahead and figure Article 1125 and 6. So the minority heard about the communication to the Electoral Commission. So they came yesterday in the morning, made a statement, an urgent statement. Our rules permit for urgent statements, and raised the issue and called for the withdrawal of the letter. I was not in the chamber when they raised the issue. I arrived and saw that they had made a statement. Then a member from my side, Honorable Dafemako, was on his feet to comment on the statement, which we are all also permitted to do. Then they obstructed and said they will not allow a comment on the matter. When Speaker tried to restore order, the first Deputy Speaker, they ignored him. So first Deputy Speaker took a short, suspension. And I then invited them to join me in the Speaker's office so that we can discuss the matter. They refused to come, and later on sent one of their colleagues, Honorable Habib, to come and then find out why we're inviting them. So we're inviting you so that we can resolve this issue. You've raised an issue, and it has to be commented on. That is our practice. In the comment, you will also get to hear the other side of the story. Because you are claiming that what the clerk did is illegal, it offends a ruling of the Speaker. Let us all comment on it so that you will see whether indeed it is legal or illegal and whether it is offensive in terms of the ruling of the Speaker. And they said no. They will not allow the majority to comment on it. I said, but that cannot happen. You as a minority cannot make a statement and say the majority cannot comment. It's not fair. That was the issue yesterday. It had nothing to do with whether a by-election would happen in Pandai or not. It was just the decision of the minority that they will not allow the majority to make a comment on a matter that they had raised. So it doesn't happen in a democracy where you, a minority, will raise an issue on the floor and say the majority should not be allowed to comment. Then you are who? And that was the issue. So if you watch the proceedings, you will find out that each time that the speakers try to give the majority side an opportunity to comment on what they have said, they will get up and then they will be unruly and then banging tables and then shouting, saying irrelevant things and just being, obstructionist in their approach, thinking that they will lure my side to be angry and then, be chaotic and then render the situation in the House impossible to conduct government business. But we restrained ourselves and said, as for speaking, we will speak. The matter you are afraid of having discussed in public will be discussed in public. Because if it is discussed in public, you will see clearly that you don't have a case. You are just being obstructionist. And it's a simple matter. It's a simple matter. The issue is whether or not the clerk was right in writing the letter. The clerk is clearly right in writing the letter because the CI 132 says that when the court gives a decision or an order, you cannot, by filing a process in court, have the decision of the court stayed. No. You must obtain a specific order from the court staying the execution of its decision. This is what the issue was. And today, this morning, they are to move their motion for stay of execution at the High Court. The High Court may order that its order should be, the execution of its order should be stayed pending the determination of their appeal. The High Court may refuse to grant a stay. Then they will now have to go to the Court of Appeal. The Court of Appeal may grant an order staying the execution of the decision of the High Court. The Court of Appeal may also refuse to stay. If it looks at the facts and it comes to a conclusion that there's no basis for staying the decision, it may refuse. But in the meantime, the timeline set by the Constitution must be respected by the various actors. Otherwise, they too will start in violation of the Constitution and they will suffer a penalty for that. And so the clerk was only covering himself because the Constitution says within 7 days of the occurrence of the vacancy. And the Speaker had ruled that the vacancy only occurred from the 1st of December. So he counted from there, and in the middle, he wrote the letter because he did not have a specific court order staying the execution of the decision of the High Court in Tamale. And he did not have an order from the Court of Appeal also staying the execution of the decision of the order of the High Court in Tamale. So the clerk was perfectly within the law. And they didn't want this debated publicly. Okay. That was the problem. We say, okay, let's debate it publicly. Let Ghanaians hear your side of the story. Let them also hear our side of the story. So no. That will not happen. There should be no debate outside about in which country will this happen, and not in Ghana. The kind of constitution that we have that requires transparency and openness, that gives Parliament and all sides of you. You are even half of our number. You are not even up to half of our number. But when the Speaker rules that when he is giving us 2 minutes, he will also give you 2 minutes. Me, I can divide your number by close to 3, and yet I have 2 minutes to speak, and you also have 2 minutes to speak. You don't find that unfair. And you now are proceeding to a point where you are even saying that my side cannot be heard speaking. I mean, where would that happen? That was really the issue in the House yesterday. It had nothing to do with Pandai. They are only trying to bring in Pandai to mask the issues and bring in issues about John Mahama or Boku. And I will not be distracted by all these irrelevant matters. The issue is whether we as a majority should also have a right to speak in this chamber. And you, the minority, cannot be dictating who can speak and who cannot speak in this chamber.
Well, but with the clerk being aware of the processes, would it have taken away anything had he held on a bit for today, whether the High Court will grant the stay of execution or not before he moves on with a letter to the EC?
It didn't matter. So long as the clerk did not have a court order restraining him from executing the decision of the High Court, he was perfectly within his right and authority to have written the letter. If today the High Court grants a stay of the execution, that stay will apply to both Parliament and the Electoral Commission. Remember, the Electoral Commission has not issued any notice of polls. It hasn't indicated that it will hold a by-election. So nothing has happened. It's just the clerk covering himself by acting within the 7 days. So it is the Electoral Commission that will decide whether it will go ahead and organize the election or it will wait and hear from the court.
Okay.
So there's nothing that has really happened. So far as I'm concerned, that will say that there will be a by-election. No. That is a matter for the Electoral Commission. And I was telling them yesterday that, but you are in court tomorrow morning. Why are you worried about a letter written to the Electoral Commission? The Electoral Commission hasn't even told you that they are going to organize the election in 30 days. Maybe they are waiting to hear from the court. Maybe they are not. We don't know. But don't jump the gun. Wait till tomorrow morning. Go to court, move your motion. Let us hear from the court and let us see whether the Electoral Commission will trigger the processes. They said no, that the letter of the clerk is going to undermine the court. I said no, but who says the court listens to what the clerk writes? The court will listen to your argument, the basis for you wanting a stay of its decision. That is what the court will listen, not what the clerk has written. Oh, what the clerk has written will prejudice the mind of the court. I said, but the clerk is acting perfectly within his right as clerk and within the instructions of the Constitution. So you cannot also fault him for acting within the instructions of the Constitution. Because if he doesn't, and somebody also brings an act to impeach for the violation of the Constitution, you will not be there to defend him. So let him cover his. That is really the issue.
Well, they explained that with the clerk's letter, even if the court stays the execution of that particular judgment, the Parliament has already declared the seat as vacant. So then there's no seat
that is also not true.
Okay.
See, that is the point. They keep misapplying and misrepresenting the law. Once there is an order to stay the execution of the decision, that order will apply to everybody in this country. It is coming from the court that please stay the execution of my decision. Or the Court of Appeal says, look, even if election is tomorrow morning, and the court decide that the execution of its order should be stayed, I can assure you that there will be no election the following morning because the courts of this country have spoken. Nobody can organize it. Even if they campaign and spend all the money in the world, and even if the people wake up at 4 a.m. and go in queue, and by 6, 7, they come to open polls, and that morning the court sits and issues an order that there should be no election. Trust me, there will be no election. In SAL, that was what happened. The people were ready to go and vote. And the day before, the court said that no, there should be no election. The people of SAL didn't vote. That is the rule of law. So exercise restraint. Rather concentrate your effort in convincing the court that, there's a chance that your appeal will succeed. And if your appeal succeeds and an election has already been organized, it will cause irreparable damage to your case. No remedy will suffice. That is the argument you should be making to a court today, so that the court will sit and reflect on it and say, yeah, you are making a case. When you look at the facts of the case and look at the judgment or the order, maybe there's a mistake, and therefore there's a chance of it being overturned at appeal. And therefore, if by the time it is overturned at an appeal, it turns out that an election has already been organized, the court will have a difficulty saying that the person who has been elected should step down, and then the old person. I mean, it is still possible, because if you recall, even presidential elections, when the NPP, petitioned against the election of President John Mahama, the court said, let's continue. If we go ahead and we conclude that the election was null and void and that John Mahama did not win, the court will so declare. If they declared, President John Mahama will step down, and if the court declared that it was Akufo-Addo who won, he will hand over to Akufo-Addo. And this country will live through it. We sat and watched the proceedings on television for several months, and finally a ruling was given confirming. Vice versa occurred when President Akufo-Addo also challenged, and we also sat and watched. So even if the person is sitting there and acting as a president, and the court says, no, you didn't win the election, so step down, give it to this person, he actually won the election, the two sides were willing to abide by the decision. So even in this is a mere parliamentary election. Even if there is a by-election and you take your case and finally win, the person who is sitting there, if the court orders that, no, you are not supposed to be there, the declaration of the nullity of this other person was not founded in law, and therefore we are reversing it. So we'll step down and the person will come back and be reinstated. This is the country of rule of law. We believe in the rule of law. We don't believe in coming to the chamber and being cowardly and wearing face masks and being rowdy so the Ghanaians will not identify you as the ones, being rowdy. If you have the courage of conviction of what you are doing and you are convinced that you are right, why are you wearing face masks and disrupting parliamentary proceedings? This is clearly very shameful. Very, very shameful. That you wear face masks and come into the chamber as faceless people and be rowdy and disrupting the proceedings of the House. If you have courage, come and face the public and do what you are doing.
Well, the minority yesterday told us that they are withdrawing their cooperation. What will happen in the House today?
Oh, yeah, I'll go to the House. I will take all my estimates, have them passed, and then have the House adjourn. Every other bill, I have bills to pass. I will pass all those bills and then proceed. As for cooperation withdrawal can be in several ways. Maybe they will vote against everything that we bring. That's not cooperating. Maybe the small support that they give us, they will withdraw. For instance, sometimes members may be sitting in committee and etc., and then we don't have the numbers in the chamber to transact business. Cooperation sometimes is they not raising an issue of quorum, because under our standing orders, once you are going to start business, even when members withdraw from the chamber and you don't have the number required, the law is that the quorum that you started with stands until somebody raises an issue of quorum, and then there's a head count, and then a discovery made that indeed you don't have the numbers. You are presumed to have the numbers. When they say they will draw cooperation, it means that they will insist on all our members in the chamber before a decision is taken, or that they will vote against everything that we bring and then elongate the whole process of getting things approved. Those are the lawful piece of expressing non-cooperation. And they are within their right to come and utilize all those powerful mechanisms to express their non-cooperation. And I don't mind if they come and try to do that. All I need find where my members are, make sure I have the numbers like I did yesterday, and then go ahead, get my estimates approved and the bills voted for. If they vote against, we do head count, and then we will win. And if the speaker sees clearly that I have the numbers, when you call for head count, he will ignore you because he knows that if he counts, I still have the numbers, so you are going to waste time. So those are the lawful mechanisms of non-cooperation that they can. But if they intend to come and exercise an unlawful conduct, trust me, I can assure you, they want to fight, I can fight. I just don't like it. It's not in my nature. If you call for a fight, you will have it.
Are you saying if they want a fight, you give them the fight?
An unlawful mechanism, I will fight them.
Did you say if they come for a fight, you give them that fight?
I'll give them a fight. And I will fight lawfully. I can cite them for contempt, and I can insist that the contempt proceedings are conducted. And if they are found guilty of contempt of Parliament, I will insist on the enforcement of the decision of the Privileges Committee. And that is the fight, a lawful mechanism of fighting.
What is the plan of your side to use your numbers to amend the Constitution?
Which Constitution?
Ghana's Constitution.
Who has proposed the amendment of the Constitution? Do you have a proposal to amend the Constitution on the floor of the House? I'm asking, just answer yes or no. Is there a proposal to amend the Constitution on the floor of the House?
Is there something in consideration, under consideration?
I'm saying that, is there a proposal by anybody to amend the Constitution on the floor? I'm asking you.
Is there something under consideration? Because that's something we've heard the minority side say, that you want to use your supermajority to amend the Constitution. I'm asking, is there anything like that in the offing?
But as we speak today, we have that number to amend the Constitution if we want to do it. We don't need Pandai to do that. So if you are losing Pandai, lose it gracefully. Don't try to obfuscate matters and throw dust into the eyes of Ghanaians. As we speak today, with or without Pandai, NDC has the numbers to amend the Constitution. But nobody has proposed the amendment of the Constitution. So if you are losing another seat, lose it gracefully. Don't come shouting wolf when there is none, because the day that there will be a wolf, you'll be shouting and nobody will be minding you. Because you are used to shouting wolf when there is no wolf. So don't keep raising false alarm when there is no threat. Because it will get to a point where Ghanaians will not take you serious. The day that the threat will come, and you'll be shouting wolf, 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 there's a wolf. Nobody will even come to your aid. By the time you realize the wolf has devoured you. So I'm advising my friends on the minority side. There is no proposal to amend the Constitution. I don't see any proposal on the floor to amend the Constitution. As for the question of John Mahama doing a third term or not doing a third term, these are matters they are mentioning. I don't have a proposal before me in the House for President John Mahama to do a third term. I don't have a proposal. So when you come to the chamber and you say you won't do business because John Mahama wants to amend the Constitution, where is his proposal to amend the Constitution? Where is it?
Will you ever support such a proposal to amend and allow a third term?
Third term. As for me, until I see a proposal and then I understand the basis for it, I will keep quiet for now. John Mahama himself has spoken. I don't know why when somebody speaks, people refuse to listen. He himself has spoken. So why are you speculating and then asking me questions based on speculation? I will not answer that question. But what is your problem with people speculating without any concrete basis? You are afraid that John Mahama is so popular that if he presents himself to Ghanaians for a third term, they will vote for him? Or you think that the argument that when there is a break in your tenure, then you become entitled to do another term? This is an argument that even America is contemplating. Even America. America that has its constitution that is running into more than a century, even they are having that discussion that they think that because Donald Trump, had his tenure interrupted by losing one election and then coming back, they think that he hasn't done 2 consecutive terms and therefore he should should do another election again, because once there's a break, then the 2-term limit doesn't apply. This is a conversation that is going on among constitutional lawyers and experts. And I recall that even before John Mahama was elected president, if you recall, I hope my facts are right, either my uncle, Martin Hamidu, or somebody raised the issue of whether or not he was even qualified to file and contest as a candidate for the NDC, because he also interpreted the Constitution to mean that once you had ever been a president and enjoyed the benefits of, the protection granted and the facilities granted the president, after you leave office, you are not entitled to come back and then file again and contest. You remember that even before John Mahama became, a candidate of the NDC, the argument about his entitlement to rerun came up. So these are matters that keep coming up. But it's up to Ghanaians to decide. It's up to the judiciary. If somebody decides to go to court to test it, he is perfectly within his or her right to go to court and then test it. If the court interprets it to give John Mahama a right to contest a 3rd term or to run the election again on the basis that their view is that the Constitution says 2 consecutive terms, and then they find the jurisprudence to support what they are saying, and Ghanaians get convinced about it, don't forget that whether you are running 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, 10 terms, at the end of the day, it is a Ghanaian electorate who will queue and decide whether you should be a president or not. You can go and amend the Constitution and say anything. When you present yourself to Ghanaians, they will tell you whether they support your decision to amend the Constitution and whether they support you continuing as their president. So the general electorate and the general population is the final bulwark against any attempt to undermine the Constitution. Because you are not going to amend the Constitution to say that you have a right to remain as president without the people voting to determine whether you should be president or not. So even if Parliament fails the people, the voter is sitting there waiting for you. If the voter is convinced that you should stay as president, or that they think that what Parliament did satisfies them, who are you today to say you are questioning the process? It's a debate that is going on. And indeed, it is a debate that is fueled by the opposition themselves.
But where do you stand? Where do you stand?
They are the ones who are putting the idea in people's heads.
Okay.
You see, ideas.
But Mr. Araga, where do you stand on that debate?
When you put ideas in people's heads, they may actually start thinking about it seriously when they were not thinking about it.
Okay. So, but I want to find out from you, because you are also a lawyer and a reputable lawyer at that. Where do you stand on that debate?
To tell you the truth, where I sit, whatever I say is a sensitive matter. If I tell you my personal convictions today, you will say, oh, Ayarga has said this, and because Ayarga is a majority leader and leader of government business, what he says reflects the view of X or Y.
No, nobody will do that. This is your personal thought.
Commenting on the matter. You get the situation. I have refrained from commenting on the matter because I don't want my views to be misrepresented as the views of any collective. So I honestly have stayed away from commenting on the matter.
But if we are not going to quote you to say this is what you mean, but we're only going to be educated by your thought, where do you stand?
For me, there are a number of things. One, if you come up with an idea, the idea has to be tested on the basis of the legal for legitimacy. What processes of amendment will allow a candidate like John Dramani Mahama to run again? Is it a referendum? Is it just a simple amendment of the Constitution by the use of 2/3? Is it a definition of the Constitution and what it says via a Supreme Court interpretation of the relevant clause to say it means this if you don't understand. What is the process for legitimizing that request? If you go according to the process for legitimizing that request and get it legitimized, who am I? Who am I to say that it will not be done? I'm a student of the law. I'm a maker of the law. And I'm a practitioner of the law. And there are processes. If you go through the processes and the processes allow you to do that, I cannot contest that. But like I said, I'm also a Democrat who understands that whatever maneuvering you engage in, at the end of the day, it is the Ghanaian electorate who have the ultimate power to decide who becomes president, even for one term. Just as they did the last time. He became president for one term, sought to be re-elected, as the Constitution allows him to do. But the electorate said, no, we will not keep you as our president. He went, he came back, requested, and they said, oh, this time we'll keep you as our president. So the electorate has a capacity to understand these nuances and to make a pronouncement. So there are two hurdles. The hurdle of legitimizing that, and then the hurdle of the electorate accepting it. So I am satisfied with the mechanism that the Constitution put in place to check this kind of situation. And so people should be watching the mechanisms.
Okay.
As for the question of, because of John Mahama wanting to do a third term, which he hasn't said he wants to do.
Okay.
That's the funny thing. The man has said that, he is not thinking about it. Why are you putting the idea in his head?
Okay.
Why are you, NDC hasn't come out to say that they want to amend the Constitution that their candidate will run a third term. Why are you putting it in their head? Because it is dangerous for you to keep pushing it in their head, because the more you discuss it, the more maybe some NDC will come say, perhaps maybe it's an idea worth considering. So let's consider it, given that we have the capacity to do it. So I think that the minority are rather trying to incite, people to end up wanting to do something that they have clearly said they are not thinking about now.
Okay, you are the leader of government business. Will you push it if it comes?
If my party takes a decision that it is something that they want to pursue, if I have an opposition to it, and internally within the party, I am unable to convince them about my side of the argument, and they convince me about their side to the argument, and I become convinced, in my position as leader of government business, I will be obliged to pursue it. If I don't accept, then I have to resign. If I resign, then it doesn't fall on me as leader of government business to pursue the party's position. But if I remain as leader of government business, I will be obliged to pursue it. If I'm against it, I will resign.
Okay. I'm grateful to you, sir, for your time here on our
Thank
show.
you very much.
Mahama Yarga is the majority leader of Ghana's parliament. Well, we would also try and raise someone from the minority, but he says, if the minority cooperate or not, he will try and get his numbers in the House and make sure government business does not suffer. Well, Dr. John Osaikopon is still with me on the line. Doc, you had the majority leader there. What do you make of his explanation so far?
Well, with regards to the Pandai case, as I had mentioned, I needed that education in terms of what happens when someone is trying to stay the execution of a judgment of the court. The only question that I have of reflection is when he says, the minority could have waited till this morning to go to court and move their motion for the stay of execution. I also then asked myself that, given the sensitive nature of this matter, what would it have hurt if the Clerk of Parliament also waited a day or two to see what would happen in court today after the minority moves its motion, right? So I agree with him that the Clerk is perfectly within his rights to have done what he did. But I'm just asking that if that same argument applies that, hey, minority, why can't you just wait till tomorrow morning, move your motion in court, let's see what the court says? Then I'm equally asking, what would it have had in terms of the process, in terms of even ensuring that we avoid another clash in Parliament if the Clerk of Parliament also waited a day or two just to see what the court will do or not do?
But in terms of the constitutional amendments, where do you stand?
Look, it's a very I don't know what keeps fueling this narrative. I call it, constitutional fidgeting. We've seen what has happened in other countries, in the region, where this, others have tried to fidget with term limits. Some places successful, some places unsuccessful. I would have wished that, and with all due respect to you as well as to the majority leader, I would have wished that he would have avoided going down that rabbit hole. From the very first question, I would have expected his response to be, look, don't even think about it. This is not a path that as a country we want to go down on because of and forcefully just put it to rest. But having engaged the conversation further with some of the ways he tried to explain it and all of that, it won't let this narrative die anytime soon. If anything at all, it's going to fuel it. And for me, it is a very dangerous conversation to even entertain the ifs, the whats, and all of that. No, it's. I'm just worried.
But with your understanding of the Constitution, would that be a referendum, or Parliament can easily take that decision?
I mean, my understanding of the Constitution, at least from my perspective, it is very clear. The Constitution grants you 2 terms, whether it's consecutive or non-consecutive. That is it. You get 2 terms, you serve, you bow peacefully, and the president himself has even made it very clear that this is what the law says, and I would respect the law. I just don't know why this narrative is still being fueled. Perhaps we don't know the consequences of even entertaining this kind of conversation about fidgeting with term limits. And I just hope that whenever it comes up, the purveyors of that narrative would stop. But even when it is thrown to others, that they would push back and say, this is not something you even want to keep entertaining, or this is not something that we should be. I'm not a constitutional expert, but the Constitution is very clear. You get 2 terms, consecutive, non-consecutive, you're done. You don't want to jeopardize Ghana's democracy over this kind of conversation of trying to do something with term limits. It's a dangerous path.
Let me bring in Dr. Asante. Doc, you heard the majority leader there that the minority could have waited and make their point today. Again, he says that they as a majority are not perturbed by what's happening, that he would ensure that he is able to get his numbers in the House to do government business. What would you expect of how Parliament should behave today?
I expect nothing but how the rule of law to prevail. From what I listened to from the majority leader, even though I've not heard from minority, if I should go by that, my understanding is that it's nothing but pure politics and, pure politics and tactics that they employ other than law. Because you see, whatever decision that they took in Parliament, if the court pronounces today otherwise or contrary to what they are saying, that of the decision of the court will remain the same. So I did not see the point of that attitude, that unruly behavior in Parliament is needless. It's nothing but politics. because you can, declare the person persona non grata in Parliament, but the court will reinstate the person if the court deems it fit. So that is my position on that. I believe that, look, all these things are unnecessary, very, very unnecessary on the part of, if I listen to a majority leader and listen well, my understanding is that it becomes nothing but what? Political decision other than legal decisions. Because you can do whatever the court says something contrary to what you are doing, it becomes the law of the land.
In terms of what has happened, do you think we are normalizing confrontations in the House?
Oh, obviously, if you look at, the numbers in Parliament, from the word go, Parliament stands as what? In terms of opposition, Parliament is weak because the minority can do the best, but the majority will have what? Their way because of the numbers. And once you have Parliament like that, every time you see majority bulldozing their way through using their numbers. You can't help it. That is the situation on the ground. So if we really, as a society, want to make the best use of the numbers in Parliament for the best of our people, then there must be cooperation, there must be consensus, and there must be the decision to work together to ensure the survival of government business and by extension, satisfaction of our interests. But there's something that I also touch on is the position that the discussion that you extended to third term limits and all that. And I am fully against any idea, however small it may be, from any quarter, with a day increase in the tenure of the presidency of Mr. Mahama. No, I don't want to know, and I don't want to hear that. As a student of democracy, we have seen from the sub-region, from Africa, the difficulties that countries which have tinkered with their constitution to change it to suit the whims and caprices of their leaders for a third term, the trouble they brought to them. We don't want that. And I believe that John Mahama is too sharp, too intelligent, and too experienced to entertain this. For me, and for now, what I want to, avert my mind to is the fact that, look, it's nothing but conjecturing, that people are conjecturing. Because Mahama himself has said that he's not interested. And that is, for me, the end of the road. I'll be surprised that Mahama will come back one day and say that, yes, the good people said I should come back and I'm for it. Even if the people say so, I'll be so much surprised. And I believe that the NDC will not dare to move this country into a third term because nobody is going to sit down for a third term to happen in this country. We will use all the legal means to scuttle all those attempts and all that. What is fueling this is a section of the people in this country and some members of the NDC who are saying Mahama for third term and all that. Those people should think about these states and then condemn themselves that they are unfair to the president. The president himself said, I'm not interested. Why are you saying this? They don't know that the wisdom behind the framers of this constitution and how they develop it and say that, look, it doesn't matter who you are. You can be the Plato or Aristotle with Socrates, with all type of ideas that, are very legitimate and strong, but you cannot go beyond 2 terms. For now, let us stay that course. Because I ask myself, if you are a leader and you have something to share, you have something to leave as a legacy, you don't need, 3 terms. The Constitution doesn't give anybody 2 terms. It gives you only 1. By dint of hard work, the people will add 1 term to it. So if you have 2 terms of 8 years, what more do you have? People have forgotten the fact that if you encourage this and this thing comes to stay and you have a bad leader, all of us will end up being ghosts in this country. There will not be any Ghana because you have a brutal leader and with a long tenure, you can survive. Let us not go on that trajectory at all. And as I've said, we will use all legal means to resist any attempt, any thoughts of it within the public space, because this is no. I stand for democracy and I stand for 2 terms. Nothing more, nothing less.
All right. Let me bring in Nana J. Bafo Ewua. He's MP for Menchia South. Nana, grateful for joining us here. The majority leader says you could have waited to move the case in the High Court today about the appeal. I think the appeals court, and then the stay of execution. If the court grants the stay of execution, then that could take effect on the process that has been or the letter that has been written to the EC. Why didn't you take that route? Since a lot of you are even lawyers and you know what the law says.
Thanks for having me. Thankfully, the majority leader is also a lawyer. The speaker is a lawyer. The clerk of parliament is also a lawyer. And they also know that the tendency of the motion for stay of execution is in itself stay of execution. And so why didn't they also comply with it?
Are you saying that contrary to the education that a court has to grant the stay for it to have effect, just by filing it should take effect?
Even before the court grants it, hears and grants it, even before the court hears and grants the motion, whilst it is pending, it amounts to stay of execution. It amounts to stay of execution. There are 3 types of stay of execution. There's the statutory stay of execution, which is when the decision of the court has been made, dependent on the nature of the decision. If it contains an order that says do something, or an order that says don't do something, that order is what we call executable order in law. It can be enforced. And within the first 7 days that the order was made, the law says that order cannot be enforced. The reason is that you are being given room to explore the possibility of an appeal and then you may also apply for stay of execution. When you do that, right, so for that period, nobody can enforce the judgment. When the 7 days expire, right, if you go ahead to file an appeal, the appeal in and of itself will not amount to a stay of execution. But in addition to the appeal, if you also apply for stay of execution, pending the determination of the stay of execution, the judgment cannot be enforced. Let me give you the reason why. If I apply for stay of execution and you are allowed to go and enforce the judgment, right, wouldn't the stay of execution become redundant? The pending motion, which is yet to be heard, if it is allowed, if the judgment is allowed to be enforced, the motion for stay of execution will become redundant. Indeed, there will be no need for the practice or the procedure whereby a party is allowed to file an application for stay of execution. So the principle is that stay execution while the application is pending, so that the court will determine whether it is necessary to stay execution or not. And so even in practice, once you file stay of execution, you make a copy available to your client, who is deemed to be the judgment debtor, so that if anybody by mistake decides to come to the premises to enforce the judgment, the person would then show a copy of the application to the court officials, in this case, the bailiffs, to stop them from executing the judgment. And that's why, in this case, a copy of the judgment, a copy of the motion for stay of execution was served on the clerk. In our country, the way justice is dispensed with, justice is dispensed by an act of parliament. Justice is dispensed by what you call statute, which is an act of parliament, and other written laws, or case law, right, or practice and procedure of the court, or the acceptable practice. And so this is acceptable practice, and it forms part of the laws of this country, and it's been complied with. And so why did the Speaker and the Clerk...
Sorry to cut in, but if you say this is acceptable practice, which authority is giving this back into this practice that just by filing a stay of execution it stays it?
It is trite. It is trite.
Okay.
It is a trite provision, is a trite aspect of our law. It is trite. It is trite. Everybody knows this. And so the Speaker knows in his ruling, when the first issued some last week, he acknowledged his ruling. And so why did he just depart from this? In fact, this is not the time Parliament counted it of this kind. In the Isaac Book, the Iowa West State, long time ago, Isaac Book and Miss Rebecca Alu, I forgot her name, very respectfully, pardon me. You know, the same happened in the
I keep losing you at some point. Maybe you can reposition.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. In the Jatikwe case, Mr. Agbontakbe, Right Honorable Speaker, was the Speaker. His ruling is part of the records of Parliament. How do we explain that the Jatikwe case, Mr. Speaker, will apply one set of rules, but in Honorable Hindam's case, Mr. Bagben, Right Honorable Speaker, we shouldn't have different of rules. How do we explain ourselves?
Hello? Honorable, I don't know where you're standing, but...
Is it better now? Is it better?
Yeah, when you say it is better, is it better? It becomes better, but when you start making your point, then it keeps tripping.
So please, guide me along the line.
Okay.
So why is it that Jatikweson, different set of rules were applied, but in Honorable Yindam's case, another set of rules are being applied by the same Right Honorable Speaker? Why is it that Mr. Mahama Ayariga, the majority leader, defended the Jatikweson's position, but in Honorable Yindam's position, he thinks that something else should be done? You see, what we are experiencing is leadership that lacks principle. And when a country is led by people who lack principle, what happened yesterday is what would happen. You understand? Don't forget, very respectfully, even though we are in leadership, we are also human. We have blood running through us. When we see an injustice, we see it. When we go through an injustice, we feel the pain. It happened to Eneskumi. What Eneskumi went through in Parliament, none of you perhaps may have appreciated it. On the day when there was an order for his arrest, the first person that said he cannot participate in parliamentary proceedings is the majority leader. It was the majority leader, even though the necessary procedure under the rules of Parliament have not been complied with. And so they choose which law they want to comply with and which law they don't want to comply with, which is what is giving people apprehension that if indeed you are choosing and picking which laws to comply with in this country, what else can't you not do? What else can't you do?
Okay. You mentioned that the Speaker had two different rulings in the two cases. What was his ruling in the Jatikweson case? That is different.
In the Jatikweson case, he said that once there is stay of execution pending, he should not be removed from the House, even though there was a valid and enforceable judgment of a court. But today he's saying that irrespective of the pendency of the motion for stay of execution, he has declared the seat vacant. Everybody, Jatikweson's record is there. It's known. Indeed, the Speaker himself has he has spoken from two sides of his mouth in this matter. Just last, he has stated that the motion for stay of execution pending, it amounts to stay. So why? Of own ruling. So no how you.
I'm losing you again.
Well, I said that no matter how you want to look at this, it doesn't sound well. Even is that when you have a speaker like Honorable Right Honorable Van Babbitt sitting in the seat, somebody who has before in the parliamentary history of the country, particularly the corporate politics, his experience that is look, his exposure should rather be guided us better. It's not talk. It's not just talk. You see, what pocket
you're making a very good point, but I'm struggling. I'm really struggling.
Can you hear me? Is it better?
It's better now.
Okay. When your actions, when there's a clear dissonance between your actions and your words, it can be worrisome. It can be worrisome. You see, we cannot grow. If we are not growing, then it should be worrisome. From the second Parliament of the Fourth Republic, one of the tools of the opposition was boycott or walkout of Parliament, if you recall. It is not the MPP party alone that has engaged in walkouts, right? Mr. Babben, whilst he led the NDC as the minority leader, was engaging in walkouts, right? Now, people are seeing that it is not an effective tool for dealing with situations. So now they will stand and disrupt proceedings. Where is that taking us to? What tool are they going to employ next? We need leadership. There is default of leadership in Parliament by all the things that are happening. People that should go back and guide on the right have chosen to do things that would affront the laws. And that's, as a people, and that's very specific. You know, so if you are that why we wait for the decision to be made this morning, why also comply with the law?
But are you not worried about the image that this action of yours is giving Parliament?
Respectfully, it is worrisome. But I believe that when you are caught between the rock and the hard place, right, sometimes you may act in a way that might not be acceptable to all men. But in the future, people will come to accept you. When the J.H. Mensah Parliament, very respectfully, the distinguished J.H. Mensah, started using the tool walkout, it was not popular in this country. Subsequently, the NDC came to adopt it, right? And so that is where we need leadership in Parliament. We are not leaders for nothing. We are leaders for a reason. We are leaders because we ought to act in a manner which is different from how everyone else may act. How do we do it? When really we are being pinned down, when really, even when you are being pinned down, the person is standing on you, trying to take everything from you because he thinks that he's in a position to do it. He's in a position not to even act consistent with the law. You see, we are in a very difficult situation, not in normal times. And I believe that Ghanaians will appreciate where we find ourselves, that the Speaker of Parliament chooses not to comply with the law, that the majority leader chooses not to comply with the law. And so what else are they going to comply with?
But what law have they not? What law have they not complied with?
Pardon?
What law have they not complied with?
The law that when a motion for stay of execution is pending, it amounts to a stay of execution. When the court made a decision in Jachikwe, it was a judgment. The Speaker said he would not comply with it because there's a motion for stay of execution pending.
Okay, all right.
Is something different being done now?
Okay. One of my guests, Dr. Asante, has a question for you, so please listen to him.
For opportunity, Kojo. Honorable, good morning, Mr. Ua.
Good morning,
Mr. Ua, I have three simple questions for you. One, what problem would this have created if we had waited to today for the court to make a pronouncement on this? What would have been taken away from you if you waited than the ugly spectacles that we see? Two, this behavior that your group put up, and by extension, Parliament in general, do you sanction it? You are saying that, yes, D.H. Mensah's period, Mr. Bagwin's period, they employ walkout and all that. and today is being employed. Do you think this behavior is worthy of emulation for any Parliament of Ghana to employ? And the last one, what wrong did the clerk commit when you know the law more than I do, that he has to work within a certain time frame, and that time had matured for him to trigger that process? Was he right or wrong?
If anybody says that the judge ought to have worked within a certain time frame and that time frame has matured, that person is throwing dust into our eyes to justify an illegality. When there is a motion for stay of execution pending, even if there is a time frame within which something must be done, the clock stops ticking. And so the time frame issue doesn't even arise at all, even if it exists. It doesn't arise. And so when they have spoken to disregard law and now reference things up again, right? What else do they comply with? What else do they comply with? When you have already written to the to declare a of execution, what is there to say? The judgment has now been enforced. The enforcement of the judgment has started. What is there to stay? What is there to stay? So what they did was basically to overreach the court. It's the highest form of bad faith by the speaker and the clerk. Highest form of bad faith. The highest form of infidelity against the law. Highest form of infidelity against the law. That you know that a motion for stay of execution firstly amounts to a stay. You know that the next day it is going to be heard. Now you start enforcing it. The effect of it is that the judgment that is going to be stayed tomorrow, that is today, has started being enforced. And so there's nothing to be stayed by the court. And so the court will tell you that your application is now moot. The court will now tell you that your application is moot. And so what the speaker and the clerk did is the highest form of infidelity against the laws of this country. Complete disregard, absolute contempt of court. Absolute contempt of court. And so they didn't act well. And so I believe that my answer answers your two questions. My brother, nobody is justifying what we did yesterday. You can appreciate our frustration when people have chosen not to pay fidelity to the law. What else would they do? You deliberately write this letter just to overreach the court. What else would they not do? What else would they not do? Brother, you see, let's appreciate where we find ourselves. You have tied my hands. You've tied my hands behind me. You are slapping me left, right, center. Now you determine how I react. You've tied my both hands behind me. You are slapping me. You are kicking my stomach. You are now determining how I react. Please, let's in this country, please, for once, appreciate some issues.
Okay. All right. And I'm grateful to you for joining us. Will you be in the house today?
Certainly.
Will you still obstruct government business?
My brother, we've cooperated with the majority. Do you know that?
But you said you've withdrawn your cooperation.
Wait, my brother, perhaps all of you might not know what we have done. We have stretched ourselves for them. We have made it possible for them to do things, even procedural breaches. Perhaps that is why they are doing what they are doing as today. We have allowed them to waive procedural bottlenecks to fast-track some of the things they have to do. For instance, they are vetting of ministers. We've done so many things to help them. Perhaps that is why they are doing what they are doing now.
But the majority leader says with your cooperation or not, they have numbers to get business done, so they are not perfect.
But they wouldn't have been able to waive certain procedural stages. They would have had to go do everything by the book. For instance, we cooperated with them, right, to ensure that President Mahama appointed his ministers in record time. Without our cooperation, irrespective of their numbers, they wouldn't have been able to do it.
Well, that's in the past. He says that now, with or without you, he'll make sure he passes his his bills and whatever that he has to pass today.
That tells you the kind of political machoism that he's taking upon himself. He's now gotten to the point where he thinks that with the numbers, they are God. And so they can create human beings, they can change man from man to woman. You see, politics is about concessions. It's about compromises. When you start being a macho man, clearly it doesn't help in nation building. Where we are not in normal times. You see, Cote d'Ivoire, when Alassane Ouattara decided that they were removing the term limit in Cote d'Ivoire, it wasn't a one-day event too. They started like this. Then gradually he realized that there was no teeth in the mouth of people. And then he said, keep the term. Believe that an event that let's remove the term limit. He began them for himself up because people were praising him, right? And making us like we are suffering here. Togo, when they decided that rather than the universal adult suffrage being exercised to elect the president, they will let Parliament now decide on who becomes president. It was a one-day event too. It starts small, then we get there.
All right, Nana.
So don't take what is happening today for granted.
Okay. Nana, I'm grateful to you for joining us this morning.
Welcome.
Nana
Thank you very much for having me.
Grateful that you came. Is MP for Mensha South, Dr. John Osai Kwapon. Doc, grateful that you could join us here. He's leader for Democracy Project. And also Dr. Asa Sante, political scientist at the University of Ghana. Doc, you have any final words?
Yes. I would think, thank you for the opportunity, but I think that it doesn't matter what. Parliament should be able to find common ground in these matters. The confusion partly is to be blamed on Parliament, that they keep on giving us different interpretations about such situations, and then we find ourselves in a very confused state. They should do the needful by educating us and educating us well, so that at the end of the day, they can carry us along. But I will say again, that issue of third term agenda, let it not cross the minds of NDC in whatever shape or form that they want a third term agenda. It won't work. It won't work. We promise them that we will resist using all the constitutional tools to resist that and make sure that 2 terms should be enough for anybody who is serious and want to work with our people and then leave a legacy. 3 terms, no. We promise them.
All right. Doc, I'm grateful to you for joining. This has been the news review on the AM show. Some of you, okay, so I have a test here. Let me quickly deal with it and I'll go for a break and then return. This one here quickly says, Nana Kwamwa Boateng Ablekuma Central. Good morning, Sammy. NDC MPs in Parliament are increasingly becoming intolerant, really. Matthew Yindam has filed court processes at the Appeals Court and Supreme Court. So why is the Speaker hastily declaring the seat vacant? The Speaker should be blamed for any chaos that happens in Parliament. Anyway, fantastic greetings to Commander Moses Abo, MPP National Organizer Hofo, Nana Kwamwa Boateng Ablekuma Central, aka Dr. Baumia, will lead MPP into victory 2028. The AM show is sponsored by Shield Silicone Paint from Azar Group, Syntex Pipes, and Time Herbal Mixture. And Ghana, let's talk about water tanks. Do you really know the secret to real water storage? If you don't, let me help you. It's simple, because if your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. So the tortoise tank, Syntex tank, is a champion of water tanks, and everybody knows this, right? And I guess you know as well. It is strong, durable, and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex tank has got your back. So go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. Call 0244-335-168, 0244-335-168 to buy now or find one of our 400 agents across the country. You can also shop online today at syntexgh.com, syntexgh.com. Syntex tank, strong, tough. Now, Now, thyme herbal mixture is suitable for the treatment of malaria fever, loss of appetite, general body pains, rashes, general well-being, and they are also suitable to be used by individuals of all genders. For bulk purchase, contact all herbal and pharmacy shops or call 0244 41 76 69. 0244 41 76 69. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more. Please do stay. All right, welcome back to the AM show. Let's continue having our conversation here. We've been joined in studio by people from Equity Health Insurance Ghana and also by CK Bella Hospitals, CMRI. Now, Equity is a multiple award-winning stakeholder in the health sector that provides comprehensive value for money and unrivaled health insurance benefits. CK Bella is a member of the CK Bella Group in India and provides a chain of world-class hospitals focused on the health care needs of the family, delivered with warmth, responsiveness, and sensitivity. So we'll be joined in the studio by Dr. Subru Seal. He is a nephrology transplant associate. Doc, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good. And Dr. Somen Samfui is Associate Consultant of General Gastro and Minimal Invasive Surgery of CK Bella Hospital. Good morning, Doc.
Thank you.
Great. And then Michael Owusu-Entry is General Manager, Medcare Plus Clinic and Mini Clinics as well. Great to have you in studio.
Thank you.
Let me understand from you, Michael, what is the focus of, why the medical screening that you want to do?
Thank you very much, sir. And a very pleasant greetings from Equity Health Insurance in collaboration with Medcare Plus and Mini Clinics to all your listeners and to yourself as well. So generally, Equity Health Insurance has been in the insurance space, providing insurance cover for mostly corporate clients. We found it very necessary to provide or extend this service to the private individual who may not have been fortunate to have been covered under the health insurance, national health insurance, or through a corporate body. So we are providing service to such individuals. And in doing that, one of the key and most important things to do is to prevent diseases before they occur. And that is why we are embarking on this very important screening exercise in collaboration with these very experienced experts from India.
Okay, so but let me come to you. What do you seek to achieve with this exercise? You're coming from India to Ghana.
Yeah. Firstly, I'm humbled to be a part of this program, and I'll be happy to serve the entire population of Ghana with my specialty, especially in nephrology and transplant. We cater to the entire, from pediatric to adult population. So why are we screening? Because screening is important to prevent the progression of any disease at an early stage. In the entire world, if we see into statistics, we'll see the most prevalent chronic disease is diabetes, hypertension, which often goes unfollowed up, unrecognized. And when people land up in our clinics, it's almost at a very advanced stage. So it's very important to screen these patients at any age, for that matter, be it a pediatric or an adult, to prevent the progression of the disease to lead to end stage organ disease. So it's very important for us to have the screening at a very, very early stage. So that is where we come in, and we would like to screen the entire population as far as possible and lend our services. And if required, if there is any requirement of advanced treatment, we are there to help the patients to even go to India and get their services.
Michael, how many days will this screening take?
So we are having it's ongoing today. We started yesterday at Ashaman, Presby Junction at Mini Clinic, which is right opposite the Shell filling station. For Thursday, we're having the grand one happening at the Wembley Park, Kokomlemle, where we are going to host a lot of people to the service.
Okay. So let me bring you in, Somen, right? Dr. Somen, what type of screening will you be doing when people come there?
Okay.
What would they do?
First of all, I would like to thank all the audience for joining with us. And the screening program is basically in this time, this is kidney problem, kidney transplantation for those patients who is having chronic kidney disease, and gastrointestinal problem, those who are having any chronic abdominal problem or cancer, or like red flag signs like less appetite, weight loss and bleeding per rectum. So you are going to screen all those patients. And the most important thing is that this screening program will help us to detect the target population and to know the risk factor which is present at this moment in Ghana. So that will help us to give the targeted intervention, that is most important, and this will decrease the burden of economic burden of the government and the hospital as well as the family and all the people of Ghana.
Well, let me bring in Dr. Subro again. Why Ghana? Is it that you see a lot of patients coming from Ghana to India and that's why you feel you need to be here?
Not really, because as we all come here, we feel that it is a small world. The social media and everything has brought us very close together. So there is a slok that he might just quote on to, which says, the world is after all a small family. So if we can lend our services, our advanced technology to any part of the world, we would be humbled to do that. So be it any, with no differentiation of caste, creed, color, or anything for that matter, we would like to lend our services, why not to Ghana, to any part of the world that could be beneficial with our expertise. That is the only reason.
Actually, there is one term in our spiritual book that is called Upanishad. This term is actually Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The Vasudha, it means the earth, and Kutumbo, it means relative. So the whole world and the whole planet is one family.
It's one
family. So we want to help other country and other people regardless of color, age, background and everything. And you know the health is the most important thing for any nation. So that's why then we are fortunate enough that the equity and the people like Michael and other good people help us to get this platform. Okay. That's why we came in Ghana.
Michael, so will I pay something when I come for the screening?
So generally, this is intended to welcome everybody. However, there are going to be some specialized treatment, and so that may require just some small token, nothing to break the bank. We should be comfortable with it, but the general admission to it is going to be one without any charge. However, when there is the need for some labs or further treatment in specialized area, we may have to pay some little token.
Okay, all right. So it means that after you've checked it, then if the person needs treatment, they will treat it. But when it's advanced, that's when you recommend the travel to India.
Very well.
Like we have the services of advanced technology in robotics. Like in kidney transplants, we are doing robotic kidney transplants. So which is there are very few centers in the world that they do it. And we have the expertise in India in CMRI, CK Birla hospitals, and we have been successfully doing that in most of the patients. So if it not only, like Showman said, it reduces the economic burden of the patient, as well as the recovery is faster and the patient has a normal life after a transplant.
So basically, in India, we follow ERAS protocol. What is that? It is early recovery after surgery. So there is 3 phases of ERAS protocol. One is pre-operative phase, one is intraoperative phase, and one is post-operative phase. So we offer this ERAS protocol for early recovery, and that will decrease the economic burden as well as the financial burden and all these things.
Well, but the operation itself is costly for a lot of people.
So, look, I can understand, because we offer the world-class facility. The operation is little bit costly because of we use robotic surgery, medicine, instrument like the Vinci and other advanced instrument. But I think it is much more cheaper than other developed country, like other European country. If you see, like in
then
UK,
again comes the part of equity insurance, where it can cover the entire hospital expenses, and the patient is taken well care of without even thinking about the economic part. He gets the best facility that is in and around the entire world, that is followed all over the entire world.
Oh, so it means that equity is there to also provide some insurance.
Correct.
Very well.
Yes.
But if that's the case, why are you doing it at only two places and within 2 days?
Unfortunately, we have them for a very limited time. They are going to be with us for a very short time. So we are hoping that if this comes up successfully, we will have more of such events coming up, maybe quarterly events coming up. So we hope that everybody turns up so that we have a very successful screening exercise. Then it encourages us to go on this path the more to help the society. If I may just continue briefly. So these are specialist people, pay a lot of money in health tourism to travel out to see them. I just want to appeal to the entire community that they are here with us. Let us take advantage of this opportunity and ensure we get the best of their visit here. So that's what I want to share with the people, especially in Ashaman, in Kotobabi coming up on Thursday. Let's all turn up in our numbers and take advantage of this.
Oh, so the Thursday one is Kotobabi?
It's Kotobabi at the Wembley Park.
Okay.
Kotobabi.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Ashaman and Kotobabi.
Ashaman and Kotobabi, yes.
But everybody can move from anywhere around the country.
Everybody, we are expecting everybody from Ghana. We've received a lot of calls coming from the eastern region, from Ashanti region. People are willing even to travel in. Please, let's take advantage of this great opportunity.
Okay. And I guess it is also not the only reason that, for example, if someone is at the end stage, travel to India. But if it is not and it's just beginning, you have medications to prescribe for the people.
Correct. That is where we come in, that those patients who are early stage of kidney disease, like stage 1 or stage 2, we have the treatment which can prevent the progression of the disease. It is slowly going to progress, but the progression which could have been a month earlier could be stretched up to 2 years, 3 years of quality life before the patient lands up into dialysis, and finally he or she needs a kidney transplant to get back to normal life.
Okay.
So just for an information, I would like to tell you that we had transplanted the youngest kid in India. He was only 2.5 years, and he's back to his normal life within 3 months. So it's not only the adult, it's the pediatric patients also who can very well benefit from this kind of treatment, which is definitely being provided by CMRI. And obviously equity comes into the fact that economically they share the burden, so that
that's what equity is doing.
Yep.
But this medication you speak about, and so you have the best of medicines.
Correct.
Are they also available in Ghana that beyond you people can even buy?
Yes. That was one of the primary discussions we had with Michael and the entire team, before we came into Ghana, because we were a little bit skeptical that whether we prescribe these medicines and it is available in Ghana. And we made sure in conversation with Michael that those are available and what are the probable options for treatment available in Ghana, so we could just have the permutation combination for the best possible treatment given to the population.
If someone is at the end stage and needs, say, a kidney transplant, how readily is that available, really? Because I've heard a lot of stories.
Sorry, sir. Actually, I'm a GI surgeon.
So I'll get into that. I'm into transplants.
Okay. So that's your area?
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me much about it. Because you hear stories about the readiness or the availability of even the kidney to be transplanted.
See, there are a number of ways now because of the advanced scientific advancement that is going on all over the world. There is even chances of ABO incompatible transplants, which does not require a blood group match. In the initial phases, where patients would land up with their relatives only had their blood group match. So even now, with the advanced technologies, we can go ahead with the ABO incompatible, which does not require a blood group match, which requires a desensitization therapy before the transplant, so that we can treat the patient. Because there is no match in the blood group, there might be chances of rejection post the transplant. So just to prevent that, we treat the recipient who is suffering from the kidney disease in a particular way. There is desensitization, which is called desensitization therapy, and after that the transplant results are the same like ABO compatible transplants.
Oh, really?
Yes. So there
when they're not compatible in the first place.
So I'll tell you, if suppose there is a related recipient and a donor, so there is obvious blood group match and a HLA tissue typing match.
Okay.
Right. So if there is an unrelated recipient and a donor, there might not be a tissue match, but there has to be a blood group match. But there we come in that with the advanced technology and the treatment, the special treatment of desensitization, we can even treat the recipient and go for a ABO incompatible where the blood group doesn't match. But the results of the transplant is the same compared to a transplant who has a compatible blood group.
Okay. Now you are doctors.
I'm Dr. Shubhrashil.
Yeah. If you do a transplant for someone, how long can the person live, really?
See, statistics are different, but in reality, I'll tell you, we even have follow-ups of patients who are 13, 15 years after transplant. They are having a absolute. So if you go through the statistics, there is a French footballer, there is a Ghanaian footballer also who had a transplant, and I am forgetting the name, who had a transplant, and he played football after 2 years of transplant.
Okay.
So basically the myth of a special kind of atmosphere which is required post-transplant is absolutely wrong. You can get back, there are people who get back to the normal, functional life, productive life after a transplant, which is why we always recommend transplant as the treatment who are undergoing dialysis. Because dialysis is just a temporary treatment for your non-functioning kidney.
Interesting. All of us would have to pass by. So what time does it start? What time does it end?
So tomorrow we are looking at starting at 9 a.m. and hopefully up to about 4 p.m. And I will take this opportunity to invite all population, especially those who show symptoms of pain, any form of discomfort in your stomach, lower abdominal pain, all people who suffer from diabetes, hypertension, any form of lump, or any form of disorder, indigestion, acid reflux, those who want to manage even their weight, who are embarking on the weight loss journey, don't stay home and do it wrongly. Please, let's come to the program tomorrow. Let's get screened. And please, let us not be engrossed by the extreme or the advanced cases where you would have to require these transfers. Let us aim at preventing it through some of these programs, such as what is happening tomorrow at Wembley Park. Show up and let's prevent it before it comes to your doorstep.
All right. I recommend that you go to this exercise, the screening exercise, so that you can be screened to know what your status is in terms of your general well-being. If you're not well, the experts are here. They will help you become well. Well, before we go, Doc, what's your last comment to those who are watching us?
So I think I have discussed a lot, which could be probably a little bit, very serious topic and very fearful for a number of people. But yes, to lighten it up, I would like to say that it's very important, like we all discussed, it's important to screen the patients who are coming at an early stage with suffering from diabetes or hypertension or even kidney disease at a very early stage, which can be treated, and then we can advise you for the treatment.
Okay.
So actually, please attend our screening program, I would like to say, because what important is we are going to aware you about the risk factor, and knowing your risk factor and having you aware, practicing a good healthy behavior, it will decrease your chance of having all these chronic disease and their complication.
Thank you. All right, so there you have it. Mike, as for you, speaking a lot, or you want to have some last words again?
Very well. I would just reiterate that let us all come in our numbers, let's show up, let's take a good advantage of this. Let us ensure that this opportunity does not pass us by. Okay. Please, thank you for this opportunity, and we hope to see you tomorrow.
All right, so let's all meet there and have our health checked. It's important. As I say, every year you should at least do one comprehensive medical checkup. You need to. It gives you an idea of what your body is going through. So tomorrow, be there and undergo this training. Dr. Shubru Seal is nephrology transplant associate at the CK Bella Hospitals, CMRI. Doc, thank you for coming here.
Thank you. And Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance.
All right.
We definitely, it's time to rejoice, but definitely take care of your health.
Okay. And the CMRI is the Calcutta Medical Research Institute, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then also we had Dr. Somen Samfui, Associate Consultant of General Gastro and Minimal Invasive Surgery, CK Bella Hospital. Thank you for coming as well.
Thank you.
Michael Osuentry is General Manager, Medcare Plus Clinic and Mini Clinics. Where can we locate you?
So Medcare Plus and Mini Clinics is a group of clinics. We are in 13 locations here in Accra and in Tema as well. We have offices at Atomic, I think right opposite the Papaya. We also have one at Ashaman Presby Junction, right at the traffic light, so opposite the Shell filling station, and many other places. You can reach us on 020-254-3331. If you want to ask any question regarding this. So 020-254-3331 and also 050-996-9010.
Okay, all right, thank you very much for coming. Did Black Friday pass you by? Did you miss the chance to grab that great deal you wanted? CompuGhana is giving you a second chance at the biggest discount of the year. Get ready for Black Friday Reloaded on the 12th day of December. All CompuGhana branches will be opened for 12 hours. But wait, there's more good news. Same day, 12 lucky winners will be selected through a raffle draw to win 12 gifts of Christmas. That's right. Shop from Friday Reloaded, Black Friday Reloaded sale on December 12th. You could walk away with incredible deals and amazing prizes. This is your final chance for Black Friday pricing on IT, home appliances, and all your favorite tech. So mark your calendar, set your alarm. Compute Ghana's Black Friday Reloaded is on December 12th. Now, experience the magic of Christmas on Saturday, 13 December 2025, as we bring you joy to the world, a night of 9 lessons and carols, music performances from the gospel giant Joe Mettle, the phenomenal Quindalin, the legendary Oforian Ponsa, and powerful voices of the Grace Choral Ministry. General Intatia and Lexi the Comic will be there to keep your energy high. Come and witness the inspiring story of Christ's birth brought to life by the staff of Joy FM. Staff of Joy FM, okay, with a touching Christmas sermon from our renowned Bishop James Sarr, happening on Saturday, December 13, 2025 at the beautiful Labadi Beach Hotel. It's starting off at 3 p.m. and I want to see you there. Lawyer Mitri, you cannot take yourself out of this. So I want to meet you, Lawyer Mitri, at this particular, gathering. We'll take a break here. We'll be back with more. Please do stay. All right, let's talk renewable energy now, and let's talk about the Sunrise Spectrum Initiative, which is to provide clean energy and improve cook stove to underserved communities in northern Ghana. And we have the Green for Change Ghana in partnership with Tangelic implementing this project. And joining us for a conversation on this is Justin Williams of Tangelic and John Balanko Sumbo of Green for Change Ghana. I guess this is Justin Williams and this is Balanko Sumbo, right?
Yes.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
And thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
Let me start with you, Jackson. It's Justin.
Yes.
What is this Sunrise Spectrum Initiative about?
Yes, well, first and foremost, thank you for having me this morning. As you mentioned, my name is Justin Williams, and I serve as the Executive Director of Tangelic. And Tangelic is a U.S.-based NGO that specializes in clean energy, climate finance, as well as community-led development. So when we talk about our Sunrise Spectrum Initiative, it is a clean energy system that combines clean cook stoves, home solar systems, as well as community microgrids. And the big piece of that as well would be to empower the community. So everything we do within Sunrise Spectrum has a huge emphasis on gender equity, or equality, I should say.
So Sunrise Spectrum is the project's name?
That is correct. Okay. Yes, that is correct. Yes, and we have partnered with John and his organization, Green Change for Ghana. He is our on-the-ground partner, and we are set to deploy. We are fully activated and set to deploy February of next year, 2026.
Mm-hmm. So then the Tangelic is, what role do you play and what role does Green for Ghana also play?
Well, as I mentioned, Green Change for Ghana, they are on-the-ground partners, so they have been in the Tamale area, so correct, John, for many years now. So with that said, they have deep ties to the community. And Tangelic, we are the full design team. So we have spent the last year engineering our Sunrise Spectrum and putting things in motion to deploy next year.
Sumbo, why is this so important for Ghana now?
Yes, so my name is John Balanko Sumbo, as you've already mentioned, and Director for Green for Change Ghana. We are based in Tamale, and then we operate largely in the 5 regions of northern Ghana, trying to support farmers to adapt to climate change mitigation practices so that they can still have some good yields amidst changing climate. So if you observe northern Ghana in particular, if you go, most households rely on traditional cooking methods in open fire, and then they rely heavily on fuel wood or biomass to cook. And this exposes them to indoor pollution. Besides that, the women who are engaged in this spend long hours looking for fuel woods, which means that valuable time that they could have used to engage in ventures that will bring income is spent looking for fuel woods. So under this project, we'll be providing clean cook stove that will require minimal amount of wood for them to prepare their traditional meals. And we'll also be providing them with solar electrification, because the communities we are targeting are communities that are underserved and are not on the national grid. So our facilities in these communities don't have, electricity for their health, services provision. Students in these communities mean that in the night, while their colleagues are studying, they are maybe sleeping, for instance. So we're targeting all these facilities to provide them with solar electrification, and then we'll provide households as well with solar, clean energy. So for the first phase, we're targeting some 95 households in northern Ghana, and starting in February next year. Then once that is done, we'll now do the upscaling to cover some 20,000 households across northern Ghana.
Oh, okay. So with the first phase, what actually will you be doing?
So currently, we're in Accra to do some high-level stakeholder engagement to see how we can align the interventions to government priority areas. So we're meeting the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition, we're meeting EPA, the Ministry of Climate Change and then Sustainability, and other government institutions, including Energy Commission. Then, once we are done with that, we will now do the community entry and sensitization. The target communities will be engaging and try to meet the chiefs and then the traditional leaders, or opinion leaders, to introduce the intervention to them and get their cooperation and support in the implementation process. And then we'll also be registering the household who will be interested in enrolling or subscribing to the intervention. And there, we'll now do the procurement and then installation of the solar, panels and then systems, including the distribution of the clean cook stove to the communities. But the idea is I want to, distribute cook stove that will meet the needs of the households, so that they can still prepare their traditional meals with the same efficiency compared to the traditional system or model. But if you get a cook stove, that takes maybe a longer period to prepare the meals, that would take maybe a lesser period of time. Definitely, it will affect the adoption of the system we are introducing. So we are trying to do it to align with the context, local context, to ensure that adoption is improved. And also we'll be training local technicians or artisans, so that when these cook stoves or solar system break down, they can fix them or repair them, sort of calling Green for Change or Tangelic to come in to do the maintenance for them. And all this is to ensure sustainability of the usage of these systems we are providing.
Okay. Yeah, Justin, who will be financing this project?
Well, we have a climate finance piece with Tangelic. Therefore, that involves blended finance, which is loans as well as grants, and carbon monetization as well. So using those blend finance mechanisms will ensure that the Sunrise Spectrum initiative is sustainable for years to come. And just to touch on what John just mentioned, it's very important for us to have community-led development. We're talking about training and creating jobs, uplifting the people of the community. That's what we do. That is very important for us to also have women involved, because we believe that women are definitely the pillars of communities that we serve. And without the women being involved, we don't feel that it would be successful or as successful as it should be. So that is very important to us, and we envision that Sunrise Spectrum will be nationwide in Ghana. We envision a cluster of sunrise villages, obviously starting in the northern region and then spreading throughout. We have a target goal of about 20,000 households by 2028, and then 32,000 households by 2032.
So those households would pay nothing?
Well, pay-go system, they will do that. So there will be a small fee that they will have to pay for their solar home systems, a very small fee. But remember, they will be generating money from jobs that are being produced through Sunrise Spectrum.
Mm-hmm. So you use the climate financing to ensure the long-term sustainability of this project?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. none other avenue?
No, that is the only avenue that's necessary. So we're talking about, loans, consolation loans, as well as grants. And money will grow. And then we have the investor side as well, where investors will invest in our projects, where they will earn carbon credits. Okay, and so it will funnel through the carbon credits, et cetera, to produce even more home solar systems and clean cook stoves for the communities that we serve.
So these loans, they are not what you'll be giving to the beneficiaries. Loans to you, the implementing partners, you mean?
Yeah, loans that go directly to supporting Sunrise Spectrum.
Okay.
Yes.
So it's not as if you're going to give loans to the beneficiaries.
Right, that is correct. No loans to beneficiaries, but rather, and loans is a smaller part. Our main focus would be the carbon monetization, where the carbon credits come in to fund the projects. That is correct.
Okay. All right. Sumbo, yeah? Yes. That's Sumbo. Now, what message do you have for Ghanaians, development partners, and donor partners by Sunrise Spectrum?
I mean, it's a game changer, initiative, and the beneficial community we are engaging currently, the interest is very high for this intervention. When we did the initial, scoping and then field visit, they were very enthusiastic and interested in, seeing the rollout. So the message is that it's good we see how we can reduce emission by adopting, clean, energy or systems, because the more we transition to the use of clean, system, we are cutting down on emission and black carbon emission in particular, and it will contribute to climate change mitigation and make our environment more beautiful to stay in, or more conducive to live in. And we invite development partners and donor agencies to support this initiative, so that we can reduce energy poverty, and also save time for women in particular, and then young girls that spend hours looking for fuel wood for their daily household needs.
Okay. Justin, I didn't ask you, are there any criteria that potential beneficiaries have to fulfill before? Who is the beneficiary?
The beneficiaries would be the people of the communities that we serve. Am I understanding your correction?
Yes. But are there no criteria that those members have to fulfill?
Oh, no, okay. Not at all. No criteria. I was here last year and met with John and went into the communities in northern Ghana. Beautiful people, and had great conversations with them. And there are absolutely no criteria, essentially, that they have to fulfill. In those communities that we will serve, I believe it's about roughly 45% of the communities are without power. So we identified a need, and we are here to provide a solution for them.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So Justin Williams is the CEO of Tangelic, right?
Executive Director.
Executive Director of Tangelic. And John Balanko Sumbo is with Green for Change Ghana. Guys, thank you very much.
Thank you
for having us.
It's that time of the year again. The air is festive, spirits are high, and the search for the perfect holiday escape begins. This season, South African tourism invites you to come find your joy right in the heart of South Africa. South Africa is opening its arms with warmth, sunshine, and unforgettable moments. Whether it's a family getaway, a romantic retreat, or an adventure with friends, there is a festive experience made just for you. Enjoy packages like Christmas in Cape Town or Jingle Bells in South Africa with flights, luxury stays, city tours, wine tastings, and more. From scenic drives to safari fun, every detail is planned for pure joy and ease. Looking for elegance? Our Christmas getaway offers nights of indulgence, stunning tours, and a taste of South Africa's finest landscapes. Or make it a family festive escape where laughter, connection, and sunshine fill every day. Whichever you choose, South Africa promises warmth, wonder, and memories to last a lifetime. Your festive adventure awaits. Visit southafrica.net to book your joyful getaway today. South Africa invites you to come find your joy this December. Now, what's good, Ghana? It's been quite a year, and the perfect place to enjoy the holidays is beautiful South Africa. And yes, it's visa-free for Ghanaians. So if you're a Ghanaian, just pick your baggage, book a flight, and go to South Africa and enjoy. Visit www.southafrica.net for your awesome festive deals. Come find your joy. It's that exciting time for the year again. Joy FM's Family Party in the Park is back, bigger and better, and bursting with fun for everyone. Come with the whole family on Friday, 26th December 2025, as we take over the Ebri Botanical Gardens from 9 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. for a full day of laughter, games, music, and unforgettable memories. Get ready for family cooking contests, sack races, dancing competitions, treasure hunts, and many other exciting activities for kids and adults alike. Indulge in mouth-watering local dishes at the Ghana Food Village. Enjoy the authentic life and Jama experience at the Daddy's Corner with the incredible Kwampa Band, and dance the day away as Ghana's finest DJs play the best hits. And of course, look forward to Kwabena and other top performers lightening up the stage with electrifying live music. It's a full day of family, food, and festive energy, the ultimate way to celebrate the season. Ticket details coming soon. Joy from Family Party in the Park 2025. Let's make memories that last a lifetime. The Joy from Family Party in the Park is powered by EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, and sponsored by Gino Cares. Fritol, you deserve a life of goodness. Jama detergent powder, your partner for clean clothes. M-Tickets, smart travel seamlessly. And Omansa Beach Resort in Elmina, where Accra comes to breathe. Dormaster, best indoors, core natural juice, 100% cocoa-free juice. So let's meet at the Ebri Botanical Gardens on 26th for a memorable day for you and the family. We'll take a break here. We will return with much more. Do stay.
There's a scaffold that is breaking on the floor now of Parliament as we speak. Both the majority and the minority MPs now pushing and pulling each other on the center of Parliament, and it's unclear how the marshals will resolve this, but you see the marshals there now standing watching what is happening. And for those who just watching, the minority MPs proceeded from their seats. They moved from their seats to the center of the floor in an attempt to distract the happenings. You see the majority MPs shouting push as they push the minority MPs to go back to their seats now. It's a scaffold that has broken between the two sides of the House. The members of Parliament from both sides pushing and pulling each other as the minority move from their seats in an attempt to distract the proceedings of the House. The majority rose to their feet. They will not take anything of a sort from the minority. They have moved to make sure that the minority occupies their seat, go back to their seat, and allow the business of the House to proceed, allow the Parliament to proceed with their business. Before what we are seeing now, the majority was proceeding with a business. A number of reports have been laid. The Lands Committee have laid a report calling for the allocation to the Lands Ministry to be adopted. The Speaker went on to adopt that, and they were proceeding with other reports of the House. And the minority were still chanting, calling for the proceedings of the House to come to a halt. The majority and the Speaker will not take any of that. And at a point, some few minutes ago, they all moved from their seat to occupy the center of the House in an attempt to prevent the proceedings to continue. As we speak, they are mingling among each other. It's unclear what happens to the provisions of the House that bars members from crossing over to the other side, which we call, carpet crossing. It's unclear what happens to that provision of the House now, and whether the Speaker will be pronouncing on that. You see the marshals in the midst of the MPs trying to separate them and encourage them to take a seat. At a point now, both minority and majority MPs are hugging each other.
All right, so there you have it, the chaos in Parliament yesterday because of the stance on Parliament on the Pandai seat. Let's travel to the community and speak to Charles. You can also have your say, 0302211691. Charles, good morning. Let's have your say.
Good morning.
Let's hear you, sir. Okay. When you call us, please don't listen to the television. Listen to yourself on the phone so we can have a very seamless conversation here. Charles, if you're still there, don't listen to the phone at the TV. Listen to the phone and let me have your viewpoint.
Minority is doing, what does it mean? I don't understand. That is why I'm calling to find out what is the meaning of carpet crossing.
Come again?
What I was asking is, what the minority is doing, what is the meaning of that? What is the meaning of carpet crossing? That is what I'm finding out to know.
What is the meaning of carpet crossing?
What is the meaning of that?
Well, the thing I know is that when someone moves from one side to be a member of the other side, you've crossed carpet. Let's bring in Baba now. Baba, good morning. Hello, Baba, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Please,
how are you?
I'm well. Listen to the telephone and let me
good morning,
hear
sir.
you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, sir. Let's have your viewpoint.
Okay. The thing is, I don't blame anybody. I blame Speaker of Parliament for yesterday. Look at what happened last. These people went and fight and break our chairs. Take taxpayers' money, but there wasn't any punishment. What would be take somebody not to do that tomorrow? Even if you don't take time, what will happen next time will be more than what happened last. If somebody commits, no matter what the person is, he should be punished so that he will know that what he has done is wrong. But if you don't punish anybody, and you are thinking they will come, look, somebody stand at Parliament and say a doctor of murderer. All this matter was before government. You say you find that fellow and you will punish. That is not happening. Tomorrow somebody will insult you yourself there. You say, so let's face justice in Ghana here. Let's truth should be truth.
Well,
you see, let's face truth, matter, and stop. My name is Baba Yaya.
Okay, Baba, grateful. You can also join us.
Look at Pandey, look at what is happening.
You can join us with your viewpoint as well here on the AM show. But for generations, African makers have produced excellence from farms to factories, yet our rich often stopped at the border. Now, shopafrica.com is changing that narrative by connecting Africa's producers to buyers across the world through one trusted digital marketplace. From agriculture and crafts to beauty and fashion, we bring authentic African-made product to your doorstep with secure payment and fast delivery, empowering local industries, creating jobs, and taking Africa global. Visit www.weshopafrica.com or download the We Shop Africa app on the Play Store and the App Store for more information. 0303-942-077 or call or email support@weshopafrica.com with shopafrica.com. Shop and experience Africa everywhere. Now, looking for a smarter way to connect and grow your business? Voice Limited brings you Voice cards, sleek, smart digital business cards that make networking effortless. Perfect for individuals, teams, and events. Just tap, share, and connect instantly. Visit www.voice.com or call 0598 82 3667, 0598 82 3667 to get yours today. Voice Limited, the smart way to connect. That's it there. And that's how we wrap up the show for you today. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace. Hi to you, Kofi Yaro in a grand contact. Kofi, more than the big man, you into crab your name pressure. But Kofi, the black man, the black, I'm the way on modern one, and hopo. So good morning to Bodambo and God bless all of us. God bless you for watching. Up next is News Desk. Thank you. Meet again, God willing, tomorrow. Good morning.